Oh, we've got the kilobytes. Oh, thank Chuff for that. Please just maintain kilobytes for the next 10 minutes while I just chuff about for a bit. Please maintain. 1 2 check 1 2. You can hear me check 1 2. Kilobytes are rolling. We are streaming. We are live on the internet. Live in your home, live on the internet, live on your phone, in your home, both of them. If you're watching it on a computer, turn it on your phone as well. That's double for me, double viewers. No, don't bother because it's not real, is it? I only want real people. Live on the internet, live on your phone. Here we are, and we are live on Twitch. So what we're doing today, I haven't even got it turned on. Got the old Nintendo Switch. When I say the old Nintendo Switch, it's the Nintendo Switch. It's not the OLED one. It's just the Nintendo Switch. I say old. So you say that in this UK. You say, I got the old hat on today. Got the old headphones on. They are both old items, but it's the Nintendo Switches. Could you imagine that? I'm going to plug it in there and you're going to be able to see it. But could you imagine if this was how we were going to? I'm going to stream like that, look, and you can see, and then we can play. And I'll look at it like this and you can see it as well. That'll work. Already the dog is barking. You chuffer! That's on there. And we will turn on the window for it. There it is, you see. Now we've got a Nintendo Switch running. Time to do the clappy board. You'll like this. Do you notice? I don't know if you notice what this says. It's all partly because you can rub it off, look. Oh no. Sometimes it's impermanent. You're supposed to be able to rub that off. It says, whoop whoop hotties, roll infinite, scene, stream, take infinite forever. I'll die at one point, won't I? But and then director Scotty Hottie, camera A7S, day and night, always midnight. I've written there, always midnight. Interior. Not exterior. Cross the ones out the one that we like is the one it is interior, but I've crossed the other ones out so you don't get confused. It's not exterior. There's no filters. It's good though because I can use that colour at the top to balance my colours in the edit, and I can use that to make sure all the sound lines up. So the edit's always perfect. What we're doing today is we're playing Paratopic. What do you mean? What the edit? What do you mean the edit? Hang on. What do you mean the edit? Yeah. Oh yeah, I edit this. Oh yeah. It's not just live chuffed out into the internet at will. I have to sit down and watch it all again. And I edit it and I put it on YouTube under the name Ganji Kid because that's the name of my stream. That's the name of my gamer handle. I'm Scott. Hi, you're with Scott. It's midnight. It's always midnight. This is your right ear and your left ear. I do that a lot. This is a mono mic. It's quite nice. So we're playing Paratopic. We set this up yesterday. We didn't get to play it because the kilobytes were inconsistent. I have done one brief look on the old internet. Which button do I press here? Why, isn't it? Oh, come on, Nintendo Switch. There you are. I've done one brief look on the internet. Like I said, I know this is a horror game, horror genre. I know it lasts about an hour, 2 hours if you're a completionist, 3 hours if you're a chuffer that's going to chuff all the way through it. 6:30 in the UK right now, so 7, 8, 9:30 should be just in time for dog walkie time tonight. This is a weekend stream. This was supposed to happen yesterday, but it's happening now. So that's the little intro, isn't it? Well, is there anything else I need to run over in the intro? I wonder. I've got a bit of cake over there. You can't see my face when I lean over there. Sorry. I've got a bit of cake over there, which I'll be eating periodically. But I think it's, I should have eaten my tea before I come on stream, shouldn't I? So it's a bit rude of me to eat in front of you. In my opinion, the way I feel, other people don't feel like that. That's fine. It's up to you. But for me, I just feel a little bit ugh. So, and the same with this, with anything naughty or anything going in my mouth, I just lean off stream to do it. So, if I disappear every now and then like this, where am I? Yeah, like that. You can assume I'm either eating or doing something naughty. Talking to the mouse. We'll say talking to the mouse. And your next thing is let's just get on with the game. I want to talk for ages. I don't want to just get on with the game. I want to talk for ages. I don't just want to get on with the game. What time is it in America where you are? I haven't popped out the chat yet either. Let's do that. Pop out the chat. What time is it where you are? If you're here in the chat, let me know. I'm really interested all the time. You don't have to chat. That's totally up to you. Totally up to you. I'm always interested to find out. And there's two things I'm interested in at the moment as we cruise into the new year. As we finish off this streaming year strong. Two things I'm interested in is where people are from, what time it is there, and what time you're happy with what. I mean, it's a silly question, isn't it? Because you're going to be watching at the time you're happy. So I'm not ever going to find. I'm just trying to find out if there's a better time for me to stream. It's 6 o'clock in the afternoon in the UK. It's different all over the world. I understand that majority of the audience that turn up to these streams is not from the UK. So I just thought, maybe we could tailor it to you a little bit. But then I also realised that I'm not going to be getting up at 4 a.m. to start streaming because it's better for you. We'll do what's better for me. We're doing Paratopic. We were going to go green, but we're going to use white for Paratopic. So let's go on. I call it Paratopic. It's Paratopic. Paratopic, like a topic bar. You know the topic bar? You probably don't know the topic bar. There's the Mars bar, the Bounty bar. They're the main ones, aren't they? The Snickers, the Marathon bar. They're the main ones from Mars Confectionery. But I don't eat any of them anymore because they all got milk in. But the Topic was it was nougat and nuts surrounded by chocolate, and it had like a nougat. It was like I always felt it was a more adult chocolate bar, The reasons I felt like that was because it wasn't the nicest, tastiest one, and adult things like beer and broccoli always not very nice, tasty, but grown-ups like them. And the Topic bar wasn't usually like, we had all the confectionery in the kiddie sweet shop, but it wasn't usually in every confectionery range. You didn't always see the Topic bar, but I'll tell you where I did always see it, at the pub. When I used to go in the pub, I was only little, so obviously I didn't go and get myself a few rounds and playing a game of pool. I was only little. My parents used to go in. We used to play in the garden. But at the local pub in the old village that I used to live in, it's not there anymore. They turned it into houses. But they sell Topic bars behind. They used to sell crisps, nuts, and Topic bars. Not all confectionery, not all sweets and crisps, but crisp nuts and Topic bars. So for some reason they'd chosen that to go in the pub. And I thought, there's beers, there's Topic bars, that's it. It's the grown-up chocolate bar. I think they might. I don't know if they still do them. Do they still do them? You don't know. You don't even care. Shall I turn on the game? We'll have to go away from Big Face to Nintendo Switch. And then I've got a little face in the corner. So we hope that Paratopic. Oh, it'd be better if it was Paratopic, wouldn't it? Tropical. Totally tropical taste. Here comes the lilt man. That's not racist, is it? It's not racist, is it? They sold their lilt. Topics and lilt today, aren't we? Topics and lilt. Let's go Big Face again. They used to sell the lilt with the sort of Caribbean advertising thing, didn't they? A little Caribbean song, and the lilt man was like a milkman, but in the Caribbean with cans of lilt. So I don't know if that's racist. I mean, I just don't know if it's racist or not, but I just sang it, so please don't cancel me. Web browser, Switch, Switch, okay. You'll be able to hear this now when I press this button. That's me, Ganji Kid, you see? Do you see? This is the reason that I'm called Ganji Kid on stream. When I got an Xbox, way back, Xbox 360, it wasn't even the Xbox, was it? It was before that. When did you first get to put your name in? I mean, when you were playing Zelda, you got like 3 letters, didn't you? And on most of the Nintendo games on the old NES, you got 3 letters. I used to do my initials. S. Not going to tell you the middle one. Might as well. Don't care. S, F, J. I used to do my initials, and then when you got the opportunity to put a name in, like an actual name, I remember it was probably Zelda. It was probably Ocarina of Time. But the Kokiri warrior, the green. I was like Ganji Kid, this little Kokiri who saved Hyrule. And then I remember I got Skyrim, and that was the Xbox 360, wasn't it? The Xbox 360. It's like another generation, wasn't it? So I used to name my characters like generationally. So the first one was Ganji Kid. And then by the time we got to Skyrim, he was called Ganji, Son of the Red Eye. Or Geiji, G-A-E-G-I. Like all just little variations on that. So Ganji Kid was my gamer tag. And then you open up a Twitch, don't you, when, 10 years ago. When they're taken over from Justin TV, you open up a little Twitch because you want to poke your nose in it. So you sign yourself up as Ganji Kid, and you forget about it for like five years. And then when you want to become a broadcaster on Twitch, you've already got one, so you use it. And then you realise that you're now called Ganji Kid. and that's just going to have to be your like branding. But I didn't think about it carefully. It is what it is, kids. Right, so here we go. Licensed by the old Nintendo. Oh, I got an itchy nose. I don't like to touch my nose when I'm broadcasting. I think it's rude. I don't want to blow it because then I'll be like down the microphone. But I checked before we came on. I've got no boogers. Look, I'm taking a risk here. No boogers. Oh, there could have been a booger. Then what would I have done? That would have been embarrassing. Right, look, there we are. A, when you're ready. So the one, we were going to play it last night and it was going to be late night. It's not late night now. It's daytime here. But I'm still up for this. You know, could be scare, could be frighten. Let's see. Can you hear it all right? Can I hear it all right? I'm going to stop talking for a second and listen to the stream. Turning up the volume a little bit. Turning up the volume a little bit. Turning up the volume a little bit. Okay, you can definitely hear that. Turning up the volume a little bit. And then I'm going to turn it down a little bit as well to see if you can hear it when it's lower. Because I prefer it to be a little bit down, a little bit lower. I'll see if you can hear it when it's lower. Because I prefer it to be a little bit down, a little bit lower. I'll see if you can hear it when it's lower. Because I prefer it to be a little bit down, a little bit lower. I'll see if you can hear it when it's lower. Because I prefer it to be a little bit down. Brilliant. I couldn't hear that because of my voice repeating. So that seems like a reasonable volume level. If it becomes a problem, you tell me. And if you don't tell me, I'm going to blame you in the edit. I'm going to sit there in the edit and go, oh, you're chuffy, you didn't tell me. No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Right, let's begin. Let's just see what goes down. I don't know what's about to happen. All I know is about an hour's long, maybe an hour and a half, maybe 3. Indie game. Love indie games here. Love supporting the indie work. Love the indie concept. Love that you're a small producer, an artist, and you've got a vision and an idea and you get it out there, you know, playable. Brilliant. Love indie games as artworks. Like to do a review. Like to mention before we start that we like to do a review, and the review isn't going to be like 10 points for graphics, 8 points for gameplay. It's going to be just me talking about feelings and art. So that's all the context. Loading. Paratopic has no save feature and must be completed in a single sitting. Oh, chuff. For best experience, headphones are recommended. Well, I'm always wearing the chuffing headphones. Okay. Do I need to press anything? Oh, I pressed start and now it's gone to like a menu. Return in settings. Return. Oh, hello. You have an enemy friend, though. What? Oh, hang on. Let me move my face just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. You have an enemy friend, though. Look, this is what I'm into. Right, pause it. It's going to take us forever. The reason that I saw a screenshot or two of this and I was like, this is going to be a game that I want to try. It's the graphic style just tickles me. There's something about the GoldenEye. Like I was an N64 gamer and I played a lot of GoldenEye. Good number of hours of GoldenEye. Me and my mates sat on small sofas in like bedrooms and sheds and playing GoldenEye, like 4-player, complaining, are you looking at looking at my screen? Like, you know, all that business. Not a GoldenEye. So that tickled me immediately. Tickled me. Not like made me laugh like, oh, isn't it silly, but made me think, oh, piqued my interest immediately. Piqued my interest. And then the other thing that piqued my interest immediately was the green and the sort of, now I'm seeing it live, this living, what do I want to call it? Is it distortion? Is it artifact? Is it VHS style? It creates a very living image, doesn't it? A very vibrant, moving image, even though it's in this not monotone, sorry, what am I trying to say? Green scale, like grayscale, but green. You have an enemy friend, though. What? We got a call about you. Undeclared goods, they said. I don't know what you're talking about. Who said? Right, I'm sure we can work something out. I mean, where am I? I can't move, so I've got to go through this conversation. What would I do? What would I do in this situation? I'm not going to say I don't know what you're talking about, because I imagine they're going to... God, my itchy nose. Right, hang on. Off camera, just... Shut my nose. You can't be that itchy just because I've got a stream. Do you think it's because I blew it before we started? There we go, I said I didn't want to do that. Now you've had to hear that. Like a trumpet going off. I don't know what you're talking about. Who said? Do you want to tell me on chat what you think we should say? Because I don't know. Hang on, where's my chat window? That's up now. There's your chat window. Okay, now I'm going to try and move the chat window. The cat is now meowing as well. That's started up. Brilliant. It's just me today and the animals again, so I've got to deal with them as and when. But we'll just try and carry on. They know I'm on stream. They know that I'm on stream. They wait till I'm on stream to start meowing. I fed them all. Made sure they all got what they wanted. Took the dog to the woods. And now the cat's like, are you on stream? Wow! She's called Shakima Greggs, Detective Shakima Greggs, but she should be called Wario. Right, what do you reckon? What are you talking about, I'm going to say, I think. But I get the feeling that figures of authority like this don't give a chuff about me saying I don't know what you're talking about. I've got a feeling that I should be saying I want to work something out, but I don't know what you're talking about. Then why did a concerned citizen feel the need to warn us about you? Oh, I don't have any options here. See, I knew that would go bad. Just going to say nothing. What, nothing to say? No. I need to see my lawyer. Oh, chuff, am I in a situation? Is this like a... Cells? Ugh. I need to see my lawyer. You think you're so smart? I don't mean to offend you. We're pretty full up, busy night and all. No cameras out here. You think your lawyer's going to stop me from checking out these tapes? They're just tapes. What, home movies? Then no one will care if I watch them. Oh, well, apparently you shouldn't. Oh, hello, Tubby. I'm sat on a chair, am I? Can I go someplace or do something? He's off to watch the tapes. Look, no one's told me what's going on here. Let me just pause it. Settings, customize controls, invert vertical sensitivity, select control scheme, interact, reload. Ooh, you might be doing some shooting. Alternative interaction, camera, press crouch, selection, aims, zooms, take a picture, camera break, press to run. I mean, yeah, movement. I mean, of course. Oh, what have I done now? Oh. Pressing buttons that I didn't want to press, so that was stupid off me. Right, let's just get out of this. I hope I haven't done anything silly. I can't move. It's not letting me move, so... Oh, hello. Oh, did you watch the tapes? Okay, Jessica Harvey, Doc Burford, Lazzie Brown. What the chuff's going on here? You the people that made it? I hope so, because one day we'll want to talk to you. No, we will. I'll send them an email if this is good and ask them about it. What's going on out there? Yeah, I'm here. Ready to go? Just about. I mean, it looks like there might be some zombie stuff going on out there. Have you said your mantra? Yes, I've said my mantra. Good, babe. That's what I like to hear. Who's doing the talking? We do this every time. Yeah, look, not much to say this time. Bring us every trace. Maid service on standby. Can you handle it? Weird voices, aren't they? You really have to ask. I'm going to give it a little quick pause there. Just check that you could hear that. Give it a little quick pause there. Oh, it wasn't quick enough. Could you hear those voices? What weird voices. I like that. I like the whole concept of it all being weird. The whole I like that. There's not much more to say, is there? I like that. I still can't move anything. Usual place then. Oh look, a bird's flown down. All right, now I'm in. Here's me. Can I pick that up? Yep, I can have that. Let's have them. Can I have the camera, please? No. Oh, look at those shadow people. Oh, I don't like that. How do I reload again? Is there a reload button? Shoot, take a photo, interaction, reload, /alt interaction, X or B. There we go, look. Pop them in there. What? Oh. You will follow these instructions. You will not deviate. What happened last time? You saw what happened last time. You will be a professional. All right, Mr. Face and neck. Hot food. Why me? There are debts. They'll be paid. They're not my debts. They're yours now. We cleared this up twice. Be professional. Life works out better that way. Yes, sir. Are you naked apart from a tie, or are you wearing clothes? A professional response. You won't be picking up the tapes here. We've left them in your apartment. We have a key. You should have told us, though. About what? You don't need to play stupid with me. Look, you see where it glitched in like that? Now, immediately, I need to get off this... Hang on. How do I get off this default scheme thing? Let me turn off my face. Is there a button for that? No. Let me turn off the chat window. Is there a button? Yeah, there we go. Return. How do I get to return? I just want to go back to the main menu. Like when I pause it, I want it to have that nice thing. Not this, but I don't think there's any way from... Oh. Return. I'm having trouble. Hang on. Return. Got there. Okay. Return and settings. So immediately we just zoomed in then, didn't we? With the little glitch. I feel like we're in the tapes already. I feel like we're in the tapes. Time for a bite of cake. Well, big bit stuff in your mouth. Get it down, you. Talking with my mouth full there, so I muted myself. It's not polite, is it? There we go then, look, return. You don't need to play stupid with me. Oh. Yeah, not a good look. I'm on with the gun, mate. Zooming in here, aren't we? We knew, of course. We expected you to be professional with us. You must be completely open. Don't you know another word? That's not professional. Acquiesce. They're like dogs. Sometimes you have to throw them some scraps. We've given you some scraps to share. All right. Cross the border. Deliver the goods to the regular places. Whatever you do, don't watch them. We'll know if you do. Yeah, okay. So don't watch the tapes. It's got... I'll tell you what it feels like as well. It's like a cross here between GoldenEye and Naked Lunch, in a way. I don't know if you've ever seen Naked Lunch, David Cronenberg's version of William S. Burroughs' fantastic book. I think it's Burroughs, isn't it? Naked Lunch, the book. The style of the book. Yeah, it's so Naked Lunch, isn't it? Because the style of the book, it's quite modern. Burroughs. I'm going to do this. I'm going to find out on the internet because I want to be accurate in what I'm telling you. Naked Lunch. Yeah, it's Burroughs, and 1959. So it's a modern work, 1959. And the basic principle of Naked Lunch is this. Well, there's a few different things at play. I'm going to talk about a couple of different principles. The cut-ups principle. What Burroughs used to do is he used to write in like. Oh, sorry, I should start with stream of consciousness, shouldn't I? Stream of consciousness is what I'm doing now, just yabbling the words out as they come into my mind. Burroughs used to write stream of consciousness, just chaffing the words out. In fact, oh look, hello. What's this? Can I pick it up? I can interact with it, look. Little cards. Are these the scraps? Can't read that. Religious thing. Images of religious things. And then those, are they Greek letters? Are they just symbols? Are they tarot? I don't know. Yeah, so what Burroughs used to do with the cut-ups is he'd write a stream of consciousness, and he'd also... Hello. Right. Oh, look, it's squirty. Whee! That's quite cool. I like that. Big fan of that. So what Burroughs would do is he would write a stream of consciousness. He used to write at about 2 or 3 in the morning. Oh, I love this. I'm going to go big face for a little bit while I talk. Big face for a little bit while I talk. William S. Burroughs used to wake up. I'm going to talk about narcotics, so, hold on to your hats. He used to wake up and used to take narcotics. I'm not going to be too specific about it because we're on Twitch and I don't want to get banned. He used to wake up and take narcotics and drink and smoke as well, and just do unhealthy things like that. And then throughout the day, he'd get more and more wasted. Not wasted, just in on night. Have you ever seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? That's Burroughs. That's him. Johnny Depp plays him. Johnny Depp. What are you saying about me? That's Johnny Depp's hat. And when I put it on, I am him. Johnny Depp was in the film, wasn't he? Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Mind-bending, trippy, way. So Burroughs used to get up to all that. And his writing used to come out of him at about 2 a.m. He'd sit down and start writing about then. And then he'd write and probably pass out, drinking, writing. And then next day, same cycle. So this stream of consciousness used to come out of him at these times. And then what he'd do, David Bowie emulated this style as well. What he would do is he would take that stream of consciousness and then literally get a pair of scissors and cut it up and then rearrange it. And then that's the new order. And sometimes it was sentences, sometimes it was words. Often it was, in Naked Lunch, it feels like you're jumping anachronistically through time sometimes. And it's because some things have been written and then presented to you at different... Like, when you write a book, you write increasing amounts of information about characters, places, whatever. You understand the reader understands that information, and then you use it as taken as read, taken as understood when you go on to tell them more information. So if you were to take that book and tear up the pages and rearrange it, it's all the same information, but suddenly if you're reading a middle page first, you can't quite get a grip on, even though the author knew when they were writing it what it is supposed to, the context, you know what I mean? The context. So by doing that, it created this new work, and there's some randomness in it. Maybe there's some deliberation in the movements that I think this should go here, but we'll never know. Burroughs wrote stream of consciousness, and he used the cut up. I'm now going to look at the Wikipedia to make sure this is right as well. Vignettes, which Burroughs called routines, are drawn from his own experience. So in this, he wrote small vignettes, they say, that he calls routines, like little short bits, and then chops them all together in a book. He states Ginsberg gave him the title, Allen Ginsberg, and editions, plot summary, literary significance, film adaptation. Okay, literary significance, it says it's his seminal work, obscene language, banned in Boston. Doesn't say much about cut-ups, but I'm pretty sure it is cut-up. Anyway, so that's Burroughs and the Naked Lunch. That's just the how he wrote the book. What goes on in the book is that there's this guy, and he works as a bug... I have to explain this with my brain. You should watch it, you should read it. There's this guy, and he works as a bug killer. Like, it's his job to exterminate bugs, but he's getting high off the stuff, like the powder and the gas that he uses to kill the bugs with. So then he decides, he travels into this place called the Intrazone, and it's like kind of like Morocco. It's kind of like a free port of Morocco or somewhere. He travels into this place, and these bugs are like working as secret agents, and they're like big. His typewriter becomes a bug, and he infiltrates their group and assassinates their leader. I think that's a way. I mean, it's hard to understand exactly what's going on. And then you get that in different order, all in a different order, all jumbled up. It's absolutely brilliant. It makes you feel uneasy when you're watching it. It makes you feel uneasy. There's a lot of feeling in that, in the book and the film. It's just brilliant. Naked Lunch. It's one of my favourite pieces of work, actually. I love Cronenberg, and most of Cronenberg's work has a sort of... hang on. David Cronenberg, the director, most of his work, most of it is interested in human flesh and technology. Elon Musk talks about Neuralace and this linking up and all that. Cronenberg was on that years ago. Videodrome. In Videodrome, someone takes a video cassette and places it inside themselves in a strange sequence. The new flesh. Long live the new flesh. Death to the new flesh. There's this concept in another film, Existence, which is fantastic. Again, it's about gaming. It's about gaming and virtual reality. It's chuffing brilliant. All Inception and all those films, the people that did that watched Existence and thought, oh, there's some good ideas. Existence, man, it's brilliant. In Existence, they create this controller, like a control pad, like this, but it's made out of flesh. So you literally plug into your controller and it plugs into you, and you like manipulate the nerves and the flesh. And what a concept. There's more to the film than that. But yeah, so Cronenberg was interested in these concepts, and instead of doing CGI, this was before CGI really, it was when CGI was just evolving. So they made these physical items that they would put in the film, these props, and so that gave it a real authenticity and a sort of realness, a physical realness, that gooey, horrible realness. Yeah, so Cronenberg and that style. When he did Naked Lunch wasn't exclusively about those themes and ideas. It was Naked Lunch, but the Cronenberg style was fed into it. So when you get these bugs, like when the guy's typewriter turns into a big cockroach thing, they actually get a physical prop, a moving, slimy, rubbery cockroach typewriter thing moving around, and so it has that authenticity and realism, and it makes you feel so uneasy. Naked Lunch is brilliant. Cronenberg is brilliant. Burroughs is brilliant. And this game just already, I feel like I'm being propelled into the imagination of those people. Like if you put those people's imaginations in a washing machine whirlpool thing and started spinning them around, like if they, in that imagination space that their minds inhabit, I'm now being thrown into it. I think this is brilliant. I'm really, really chuffed with it. Chuffed in a good way. Oh, I shot my gun by mistake. I hope I don't have a limited number of bullets, because that's chuffing done that now, hasn't it? Right, I can't pick those up. I mean, I can pick them up, but I'm not really interested in what they are. I'm interested in the fact you've got this added layer of... Look, there's something else there. Look, I can open and close the till. Look, I'm interested that you've got this added layer of interactivity. And of course, you're going to feel like exploring, aren't you? Because you're like, what am I supposed to be doing? Hot food. So, that's cool as well. It's kind of just showing you, look, there's things you might be able to interact with around the corner, so keep an eye out. What do you think about this? Ooh! Ah! What happened then? The dude was watching the videos, I busted him. I busted him. But now I'm here, I haven't got any feet. Now I'm here. You know what, you chuffer? What's that? Oh, lovely. Look at this. Lovely. I actually thought when I first saw that was a glitch. That I thought the light was coming through a seam in the stitching of the... No. It's lovely, isn't it? I'll tell you what's so lovely about it is this whole visual style, this green scale I like to call it, this whole visual style and this mottling of the pixelation. GoldenEye, green scale. Like this whole visual style, and then you've got that smoke. Really nicely, delicately achieved, sort of saying to you, look, we can do it. We can do graphics, mate, but this is deliberate. Nice. I like it. I like it. It's like I'm living in a real world that's warped instead of just a computer game that's not quite up to scratch, It's back in the day, when it was GoldenEye, this was up to scratch. This was like really good graphics. Nowadays, people are like, oh, it's not such good graphics, but... You kind of lose yourself in the game. It was a lot easier to lose yourself in Ocarina of Time and GoldenEye, despite the polygonical, despite the polygonical aspect. But this, like, brilliant. I'm really chuffed with that. I kind of wish, because I'm watching this through OBS on my monitor, I wish I was sort of playing this on the big screen in a way. But I'm going to pick that up, even though it's just some dirty fag end. I'm going to put it out, look. And look at the smoke disappear. Beautiful. Lovely little touch. And you know what? So... Look at it, there's like something going on up there, like changing the light. Is it just the smoke drifting up? Is that just the smoke drifting up? What's excellent about this is it's confusing, disorienting, whatever. I'm in this little room. I've only got one little item to interact with, and they've done it so well, haven't they? Such a smooth little thing. Have I still got my gun? No gun. No gun if I press my triggers. Looks like we're pressing this. It's a lift, isn't it? It's an elevator in America, but a lift in the UK. Bit of music there. Don't know if you can hear that. I'll turn the music up a little bit just in case. But I don't want it to be too loud. Oh no, how will I ever find out? Seems alright. Okay, so I've called the lift elevator in America. Is that arrow moving? Yeah, it's moving, look. The arrow's moving. Nice. Again, just a nice little... Oh, hello, look. Hello. Hello. Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's coming. It's coming slowly. And it... Can I go through here? Can't go through there. Can't do anything else. Okay, I'm going to wait for this. But I'm just going to crouch down in the corner because I'm a bit worried. Already a massive fan of this game. Massive fan. I just think this is... Look what's happened here as well. Is the floor indented. There's something crashed down here. And you get this feeling like she kind of felt like there was a zombie bit or someone being eaten on the outside of the buildings before. There's like a horrible aspect to it, isn't there? Is that blood? Like it's definitely black and white tiles, but is that a red one? Like there's like a gruesome aspect, even though it's not overtly gruesome. It's drab and semi-gothic. In a sort of, I'll tell you what it's like. It's I'm going to try and invent a terminology here. It's like cracked end chic, isn't it? Shabby chic we had in the UK. Don't know if you had that in America, but shabby chic is a concept where you kind of like take old items that are a bit distressed, maybe a bit antique-y, and you paint them up a bit, usually with white paint and then a scuffing here and scuffing there. Shabby, but chic, you know. And this is kind of like shabby. But gothy shabby, like crack house, not just crack. Another thing. See, this is combining so many concepts in my brain. It's weird. Before I go in the elevator, I'm going to do this all through this episode, mate. All through this episode. Where's the big face? I'm going to be talking. We're probably not going to. I've got to do it in one sitting. This game. So there was a time when we were sat in the bedrooms of our peers playing GoldenEye. You know, 14-year-old boys. All playing GoldenEye, crammed in around a little telly. On the N64 with 4 controllers plugged in, yeah. But then there was a time as we grew a bit older, got a bit naughtier, where we used to sit in shabby houses, not cracked ends, but, you know, student houses, shared houses where your mate lives with a few other people and, you know, people are coming and going and... we used to sit in these houses when we were supposed to be at our chuffing college lessons, and instead we were definitely not smoking anything naughty because that would be illegal. So, you know, and also still playing GoldenEye. By that time it was Tony Hawk's and other things. But, you know, you'd duck off your lessons and you'd get around your mates, maybe in your mate's garage while their parents are at work, and you'd, you know, chuff away and play a bit of GoldenEye. These shabby student houses, I remember one... they'd put up, like, because they didn't have furnishings and curtains, they'd put up, what were they, like flags and drapes and blankets and things over the windows. So, because you don't always want your windows completely open to the people walking on the street, do you? So they'd done this. But what it did interior-wise is it created a very dark and a very sort of oppressive, like these strange... drapings all over the walls, and of course you'd be sat there and the smoke would be gathering in the room, and you know, just music's on, and like it's like dull and dank. The word dank in the UK means some like a cellar or an old cave where there's water dripping and mold growing. Like dank, it's cold and it's a bit grimy. Dank cellar, you know, you might get that horrible mist, a few mushrooms, dankness, and then they use that word to describe the smoking of the naughty, the dank smoking of the naughty. Oh, that's dank. Oh, that smells dank, mate. Oh, it's dank. Yeah, they use that word to describe that. And then now we use it, you know, because of TikTok and things. We just use it generally. Well, millennials. You're not a millennial, are you? You're about 20 to 30 years old, apparently, according to YouTube. So, look, that dank concept, this is what we've got here, isn't it? This dankness. Not in the colloquial, you know, narcotics sense of the word, and not in the follow-on from that, which would be a reversal of its original, you know, a positive term, but in the sort of mossy, cold, mossy, you know, lichen. I can't say lichen. I have to say lichen growing on the walls. That sort of business, isn't it? It's got a really great evocative feel. Really great evocative feel. Really nice. The height of the ceiling does something to me as well. You know, they didn't have to do that, did they? The height of the ceiling. There's so much in these just small things. The colour of the light in the window. Switch to the Nintendo Switch again. The colour of the light coming in through that window. It's not even coming in, is it? The shadowy, urban, like the... It's slightly oppressive, isn't it? Just the indication of that urban sprawl beyond. There's brickwork. Oh man, this is so good. Let me get in here. Okay, I'll tell you a little story. I'm going to pause it again. I'm never going to get through this. I'll tell you a little story. I'll tell you a little story about brain damage. Oh, I can't even tell this story, can I? Well, there's a function of brain damage where if you... It's a medical fact, I've looked it up. A function of a certain kind of brain damage is that you don't... Like, you miss time like that. You know, missing like that. You just feel like you've jumped to the next bit. And also it can be taking static photographs. So you might see the world... do you know when I'm herky-jerky on stream? I'll do big face again. You know when I'm all herky-jerky on stream and stream stutters and you sort of see me... And I'm still talking, that you can hear me, I'm still talking, and then you see... And I'm still talking, and I'm talking, and I'm talking... Like that. Like, brain damage can do that to you. You see the world in these still frames. How else do I want to go on with this story? I'll say, I know someone who once felt like that because they thought they were that high. Narcotics again, isn't it? There's like a narcotics edge to it. I've heard a story about someone who once felt like that, simply because of the style and trippiness of the effect of the thing they were feeling. That's vague enough, isn't it? I won't get banned for that. I know someone who felt like that once. And this game, you know, the way you've just jumped on in time like that with no explanation. We know tapes are involved at the moment. We know that tapes are involved. We've got these sort of apparitional agents who are after the tapes. We had the tapes. We were in an interview at the start. Am I in the tapes? I'm loving this game. I'm loving this game, Return. Oh, wait, pause. Okay, there is another point to make. You might have been hearing a little fuzzy buzzy on the noise. I'm going to make that go away now, just by doing this. It seems to pick up. It seems to pick up a little bit of static on the line. My little cheap capture card that I run through. And when I unplug it and plug it in, it seems to disappear. So that wasn't a feature of the distortion on the soundtrack. That was a feature of my poor quality of stream. See, it's gone now. See that? It's a much cleaner sound, isn't it? Let me just check you can hear that. I like to check. Cleaner sound, isn't it? Let me just check you can hear that. I like to check. Cleaner sound, isn't it? It's a nice soundtrack as well. I'll tell you what, it's understated, but it's making a difference to set the scene. It's really good. Isn't it? Those little things that come in and then now it's drifted out. We're using some drone tones to set a tension. But then you've got these keys that are like almost like harpsichord synthesizer keys that are giving us occasional notes that have a very 80s aesthetic built into them, but also almost Blade Runner style sci-fi feeling underpinning that. And it's gone away again, and it will come back up again, I'm sure. I'm very pleased with the audio design. Very pleased with it. Oh, is that someone down there? Hang on, just hiding for a minute. I'm very pleased. Do you know what I should do? Is I should tell people that make the game I'm going to be playing your game on stream beforehand, so they might tune in and listen to what I'm telling them. But I am very pleased. I'm going to edit this, of course, and try and interview them. Just already, I'm just so blown away by the quality. Yeah. Very pleased with that. What's over here? Oh, you can't go that way. Look at the colour out there. It's more inviting. And there's someone up there. I don't like the feeling of them being up there. What's this? Red tape. Is that the room we were in earlier? There's no chairs down there. Can I go in here? Please let me go in here. Okay, no, we're going to have to go and deal with this person. All right. Little footsteps.
Sulcana dental kana. Adam.
It's so cool, isn't it? The way they talk, the way they look. Now, I've got a question. Is that I think that's somebody that they've taken a photograph and mapped it onto the face for larks. I bet that is. I bet that's one of the development team. Or it could just be a really well, really artistically well designed and drawn face placed on a really strangely kind of grotesque figure, isn't it? The way they've distorted the shapes. I mean, we're harkening back to the days of Goldeneye, like I said, to these polygons and shapes like that. But there are choices made here, aren't there? How much polygon to do, how little to. They've really gone for a sort of bare minimum, like deliberately. And yet it works. Do you know what's so amazing about it? Just even remembering back to the old, because I remember when we saw Goldeneye, and we were like, this is really good graphics. And it was this. So, why did we think it was so amazing? Like, we still knew what, photographs looked like, but we were just impressed that we could get these figures in our games, these 3D, interactive figures. And they do stand out as being clearly human, don't they? You don't need much detail in the physique to feel like that's definitely human. But then, have you heard of Uncanny Valley? Have you heard of Uncanny Valley? If I switch back to the rig face. Uncanny Valley is a feature of anything that we try and build that emulates humans. Quite often in robotics and artificial intelligence, if you build a fake human robotic artificial intelligence thing and it looks like a human and it has a face and all that, but you can tell it's still a robot and it's not quite human, but it's weirdly human, and you feel uneasy and like, oh, I don't like this. It's putting me on edge. Is it watching me? That sort of uncanny valley, they call that. That's the area. It's where you've tried to make something look more human. There's like a graph I'm doing that you can't see. It's just my hand, it's not a graph. There's like a line of trying to make something more human, where it's like, it's looking more human, it's looking more human, it's looking more human. We've hit uncanny valley now. I don't think that's human at all. I don't like that at all. And then you can go beyond it, out uncanny valley to, oh, that's completely passable as human. Like, we're in this area here somewhere, and the choice to do it is a brilliant choice. From an indie game, it allows you to not have to spend so much time over detailed graphical elements, but at the same time has created detailed graphical elements that are beautiful and work so seamlessly well together. It's given you a wonderful palette to work from that doesn't require you to do a lot of technical underpinning in different ways to, facilitate it. Probably removes a lot of worry and bugs and things to be working. So we've chosen a style like this early on and said, right, that's it, let's go. Other games where you're like, I want to make them look as real as possible, or I want to imagine the amount of fiddling, and I've seen people doing it. I've seen developers. I've been in a wonderful environment where developers were working on their games for months on end, and I got to stay there for 2 weeks and just like drop into these different teams and be like, oh, what are you doing? Tell me about that. I've seen them. The levels of polish is what we're talking about. Oh, did I hear? Well, I'm sat by the front door, so no one can come in or out. The levels of polish that they strive for, but if you've already said, from the start, this is the polish, this is what we're going for, and you can get a few pixels here and there that have gone a bit wrong here and there in your pattern. It doesn't. Okay, fine, let's go. It looks good because it's all in together, making the whole thing, isn't it? She's looking at us there. She doesn't even look that bad, does she? Like I said, have they taken a more up to date image and mapped it onto something that looks more low key, because that is quite a artistically, if you try to draw a face, that's quite well done, isn't it? I don't know if that started life as a photo or not. And of course, some things in games didn't they? When you talk about, like, Doom is another game that feels like this, isn't it? I should maybe talk about Doom. This has got a kiss of Doom about it, hasn't it? The dankness of hell, the dirty, grimy, the scary, the feeling of being closed in, the spatter on the walls, and the inconsistent patterning that. Because Doom seemed to have this sort of giant pixelation effect in some of the backgrounds and patterns, but you completely let it go. You're involved in killing the demons, aren't you? And it adds to it. It really adds to it. And I guess there's an element of nostalgia in this as well, isn't there? It's taking me to a feeling. It's making me feel like I've got a brand new N64 game, a really good one. And there's another aspect to this. So there's that nostalgia that, of course, it's strange, isn't it? I don't get that with every pixel art game. Dandara is a game that was made by one of these teams that was on that camp that I was talking about in Stugan. And Dandara is a game that is on the Nintendo Switch. I've got it. It's deliberately... it's made by people who loved Mega Man and Super Metroid and Street Fighter. So you've got this sort of fast-paced action movement. It's quite an intelligent... unique form of movement and traverse around the map. You've got the Castlevania, Metroidvania element of moving around this area, unlocking new places, revisiting places, discovery. You've got boss fights. It's a really good game, Dandara is. And Dandara gives me that, like, it's almost like I bought a brand new Super Nintendo game. Like, I was taking... imagine there's a Super Nintendo game from way back that was brilliant and you never got to play it. Well, here it is. Enjoy. I'm sure there's a few of those games now. I've even got, Secret of Mana to play. That's going to be a pleasure. So this feels like that. It feels like someone's been able to capture some magic and allow me to enjoy it again, which is beautiful. And it also feels like I'm here in the now. Like, it also feels like it's modern because it's got these strange concepts now. And back then, we were just making shooter, platformer, very straightforward concepts because they were at the cutting edge, working really hard just to get the chuffing thing to work, and run, and GoldenEye, just the basics of running and shooting. Now you've got so much more, haven't you? You've got so much more layers in the game. Back then it was just more basic, but even then we were captivated and entertained. Here they're saying, like, this extra layer is not added by new mechanics in terms of it hasn't given me a new kind of gun or a special grenade, and I'm not running sideways up the walls, or I haven't got a jetpack that I can fly. It's not trying to layer in new mechanics. This game is actually taking things away from me. You're working in little vignettes. You don't really know what's going on. You've sometimes got a gun, you sometimes haven't. What's the objective? It's taking things away from me, and in doing so, because it's a small indie company that's allowed to riff on these ideas, it's not a big AAA game that has to last for 40 hours. They're able to craft a really unique, interesting experience. And sometimes we talk about these virtual worlds, these virtual realities, these things that we do as experiences. Generally, they're termed games. Sometimes it's not a game, it is an experience, like the Ariana Grande concert in Fortnite, or there's one for virtual reality where it's like cats and rainbows, and you're in a thing, but you're not really interacting. Then you've got games that are walking simulators, they call them, where you're moving through a story, but you're not, and sometimes interacting, but you're not, shooting and action and all that. Walking simulator games. This is somewhere in there, isn't it? It's somewhere in there. Yeah, it's just so lovely. It's just so lovely. I've done some chuffing. I'm going to go back to playing. I have to keep doing this. When I do, I'll go to Big Face one more time for a little bit of a say something. When I came, I did all of Firewatch. I came to write the script at the end and do the art analysis piece. And I discovered that most of my big art analysis ideas, I'd sort of said in a few of the episodes, So then I thought about how long it's going to take me to edit, how long it's going to take me to do the 10,000 words. These episodes take like a long time to put together. And then I thought, it's a 15-year-old game. So maybe the art review comes from just my talking like this, cut up and put into an edit. Maybe I don't have to sit down and write a script and do all this other stuff. We don't know. I'm going to stop promising things. Because I'd like to, at the end of a game, sit down and think about it and write my little script and then read it out into the microphone and then get all the image. I'd like to do that for every game, but it didn't quite happen for Firewatch. And the other one that I've started doing was about baked beans. And I was going to do a review of Bus Driver Simulator where I talk about the concept of ironic simulators. But again, it just sort of got waylaid while I did this, setting up the room and other stuff. Who knows? We might get to it, we might not. But you can take it from me right now that I'm talking a lot of art chuff. Sorry, I'm just looking around my desk for my tea. And I'm going to keep doing it, and it's going to be interesting all the way. Brilliant game this is. Oh, I pressed something. Oh, this is me all over. No, I've turned it off. Hang on. I didn't read what she said, and I pressed something and it's gone. And you only get one sitting. So basically, she said there were people in my flat. And I'm like, okay, this is bad, I suppose. I'm at my flat now. This is my flat. But we were here earlier, weren't we? They were looking for the tapes. You need another favour, so I know this person. Just one. I'll keep quiet. And again, we've got that smoke, haven't we? That groovy smoke. I'm going to mention smoke. I'm going to talk about it. It's ironic because I'm going to secretly do it off camera. Not much of a secret, is it? But I don't like doing it on camera because it sets a bad example. But obviously you won't see many smoking characters in video games these days, will you? Back in the day, you used to see a lot of smoking characters in popular culture because the people that made the cigarettes wanted you to buy them, so they pay the people to smoke them on telly and in things. And people just did it anyway because they were addicted to it. And you had game show hosts and talk show hosts and whatever. You don't see it so often anymore. It sets a tone though here, doesn't it? It really sets a tone. It takes us back again. It's one of these added elements. I really like it. It's beautiful as well, the way they're playing with the light and the smoke and the rest of the sort of. I want to find words for it, but I can't. Look how beautiful it is when you move around like that. See how the darkness is constantly changing. It's almost like there's a mist evolving around us. That sort of distortion, that visual distortion, that visual distortion, it's very reminiscent of Magic Mushroom visual tripping in a way. Very reminiscent of that, like the pulsing bright to dark. And it's also, what else is it? It's like living, isn't it? It's like a living environment. That's that Cronenberg effect as well. It's like I'm in the belly of the beast. It's like a living environment. It's so excellent, so well done, so clever. It might just be a feature of the light. It might just be a feature of that smoke that she's turfing out into the air. I like it. It reminds me of something as well. It's bringing something else up in my mind. Maybe it's in the edit when you're looking at darkness and shade and you bring up the exposure so you can actually see the detail in the darkness, and then you realise, where you've got a good camera or where, you're pixelating and distorting in the darks. It's cool. It's cool. You just keep quiet, you. Think about it. We'll see. I mean, I have no concerns now about what I say to people because what generally tends to happen is I black out and appear somewhere else. So let's pop into my apartment. It's dark in here, isn't it? Oh, I can turn on the lamp. You coming in? Wearing pedal pushers. That's very 90s, isn't it? See, I should. Okay. I've got to say this as well. I thought Ganji Cuts. We've got our own channel. We have on YouTube. It's called Ganji Cuts. And I thought that this game might offer me some. Like, I'm cheerful and jubilant today, so I might be cracking my Ganji jokes. Do you remember when we did the bus driver? That you can watch that on Ganji Cuts. Nice edit because I kept making jokes and saying funny things, and the game was funny, so I was able to not rip the piss out of it, but make some funny jokes based on it. And then that created a nice edit. So here I thought we might be doing some of that. I might be like doing some chirpy jokes about things. And isn't it interesting that the cat Shakima, you're not going out the window. We don't go out the window. Well, you can. Well, you need to go out the window. Come on then, this way. Out the window then. Go on. The cat only ever wants to go out that window when I'm on stream. She would never want to go out that window before. Never seen it. So, in the other game, in Cheeky Bus Driver, in Bus Driver Simulator, the characters were badly. They were, weren't they? They weren't well crafted, and I was basically ripping them and looking at the character models. The character models were wobbling around, and I was ripping them, and it was funny. So why is it that in this game I'm looking at an equally imperfect character model and not ripping it and not laughing about it and taking the mickey? And why is it that in this game? Oh, I've got to be careful that my microphone. 1 2 check 1 2 1 2 1 2 is loud enough. 1 2 check 1 2 1 2 1 2 check 1 2 1 2 because otherwise I've done it now. I've changed the levels, so in the mix the sound of the game and the less sound of the thing might forget it. So yeah, why am I not ripping the piss out of these models and being like, oh, she looks like she's had a few? And it's because it's part of this aesthetic, isn't it? It's done deliberately to me here. I felt in Bus Driver Simulator it was like they were just almost like cutting corners, not quite coming up to standard on some things. And maybe because the bus itself was well crafted, was well, I was like, oh, look at my nice bus, wasn't I? I was like looking at that and saying it looked good. Well, like the bus looked fairly realistic, but the people, they looked like potato people. So there was a contrast there, whereas this is all in contributing to the same feel. So it feels like it's done deliberately. Not deliberately to be comedically distorted. Look at the way she follows me as well. Oh, I was going to show you her head from profile, but I can't because there you go, I can. Not comedically distorted. Like, she doesn't even look that hideous, does she? Because you give it the benefit of the doubt. You sort of say, okay, that's I know I can see what they're trying to achieve there. Your brain just sort of says that's a nice face, and like I said, the image that's been drawn on there or mapped on there is quite well done, pixel art style. Look at it moving and changing as she moves. It's pretty in a way. If she just had a slightly more, she's only got one line here, hasn't she? One line. If she just had a couple more lines to shape her forehead and her nose, she could actually start looking quite good. But no, it's just one solid. So it creates this effect. It's good. It's good here, whereas in Drunky Bus Driver, it was a mess. Look at it wobbling. Similar sort of wobble, but this time it's... I don't know, it just looks more... It just looks better, doesn't it? Right, okay, let's get in here. This is my apartment. What a little hovel. I live in a hovel. God, this is what my life could have been like if I didn't have a wonderful parent. Yeah. Hovel. In fact, do you know what? I did live in a house once where my room was this size. No, my room was probably smaller than this. Not. I mean, obviously this is very small because it's on your telly. It's only that big. But in relative terms, if you were in there and that was a real lamp and that, I lived in a room where I put my bed in and I was like, shh, don't swear. I was like, sugar, chuff it. Where am I going to go? Because I needed to. I had my bed and I had my decks, my DJ decks. So the decks they went in first with the stereo and the decks, the records. Then I got the bed in and I was like, where am I going to stand? In the end, what I did was just flip the mattress up quite often, just flip that up. And then stood in that space, went on the decks. Trying to make the perfect tape. But yeah, I live in a little hovel in this game, look. In real life, I've got a much nicer living arrangement now, like I said. So I'm very lucky. I'm one of the lucky people in this world that lives in abject luxury in the West. Like, I'm not a millionaire or anything like that. I don't have a pool or any of that stuff. Just got a very normal house, like normal people in the UK. But you know, it's got running water and central heating, and some of the rooms are carpeted, and like, yeah, I mean, I'm so lucky, aren't I? There's people in this world who don't have any of that. What's in there? It looks a bit horrible, doesn't it? I mean, that's unnerving and gruesome. Weird stuff in the boxes. I mean, that looks like the one you want to open, doesn't it? But I kind of feel like I'm going to have a blackout when I do. So, are you staying out there? Are you all right out there? Okay, just bear with me while I just open this. Oh, tension. You see that? 2 catches on it, not just 1. 2. That's tension. Oh, simple device. Beautifully crafted. They were the tapes.
It's tape.
It's tapes, isn't it? I thought you were coming. I invited you in. You didn't want to come in. And now, now that we've got the tapes out, and you know, it's all about the tapes here. It's all about the tapes. Now you're peeking around the corner. Oh, you need something? Need another one. We're not supposed to watch the tapes. I mean, this is so Cronenberg. So Cronenberg. David Cronenberg would be proud. I shouldn't. You don't know naughty words. You don't know I'm not supposed to. You've always been good to me before. Come on, I'm starving. I really shouldn't. I don't mind giving one to her. Reckon you don't want nobody hearing about your friends. That's double negative. You don't want anybody hearing. You don't. Look, can I watch the ones I copied last time? Can you watch them? Used it up. Just static now. You got a whole lot. There's just one tape and I won't say a thing. Used it up. There's just static now. So I'm going to talk a little bit about tapes, and I know that you know what I'm talking about, and I know that I'm going to be a little bit not condescending but patronising maybe. There are some people who didn't grow up with tapes. Okay, there are some people who didn't grow up with tapes. We did, didn't we? We know what we're talking about. Maybe you didn't. You know, no worries. You're one of us anyway. So I'm talking to both people at the same time here. Oh, that's confusing. We know what the tapes are, but tapes, we used to have the static, you know, the poor recording quality that you'd record on over an old one. You'd record EastEnders this week, and then you'd record Question of Sport next week, and record over it, and they'd degenerate in their quality. But you had some special tapes like your family movies, and you know, like your home videoed on a camcorder at home, and you know, you'd want to keep them, so you'd watch them a lot, and they'd get more chewed up, and sometimes, you know, they weren't permanent is what I'm trying to say. They weren't permanent, but we felt that they were a sort of, back then, before data, before computers, before CDs, before your phone, before the cloud, they were the permanents. You know, you bought a film on tape and you owned it forever because it's physical. You know, you've got it, you own that. You can rewind it and watch it again. But they were also fragile in ways. If you've ever had a cassette tape that you listened to chewed up with your favourite tape, got chewed up in the machine, oh no, you'd think your heart would sink, because if that got chewed up and broken, that's that piece of music gone. You can cut it out and tape it back together and repair it. You have a little piece missing. It's physically there on the tape that got chewed. It's physically there. So whilst it's permanent and it's your own small piece of that media that you own, it's your own version. My cassette tape might have a bit of static at the start. Yours might play perfectly. You know, my version might have been left in the car overnight, and the actual physical thing won't get in the machine anymore because it warped in the heat. They were permanent, but they were temporary. They were temporary as well, weren't they? And then we also noticed as time passed, really interesting thing about DVDs is I was surprised to see so many people spend so much money on DVDs when I felt that they were a stepping stone. I knew when I was buying video cassettes back when I was younger that they were going to last forever. I didn't realise that it was going to be a disc and a computer and a thing. So when that started to happen, I was like, oh wow, oh hang on. Suddenly there was a point where my video cassettes became useless. We don't actually have a video player in the house anymore. And my DVDs took, okay, I get that. I bought a few DVDs, the special films that I love. So I've bought them twice now, bear in mind. Once on video cassette and once on DVD. And then when I noticed this next, I thought I can't spend any more money on DVDs because one day they're all going to be free on the internet. They've just got to all be free on the internet one day. That's the way that's going to go. So I stopped spending the money on it. But people have vast DVD collections, and they're now probably obsolete in ways, aren't they? I mean, people still watch them, still use them. Of course they do. But you don't need to anymore, do you? You can now buy it again for another third time. I mean, imagine that. Imagine making a film, a piece of media, and Scotty Hottie over here, let's say it's Full Metal Jacket by Stanley Kubrick. I mean, he's dead now, so he's not getting the money this third time round, is he? But the first time round, he didn't get my money because I didn't go in the supermarket, the cinema, to see it. I didn't go to the cinema to see Full Metal Jacket. I was too young, but I was probably not even born. But he got my money when I bought it on videotape, didn't he? Did he? I don't know. I bought it on videotape. Then I got it on DVD, so I got that. And now, when it's $4.99 on the Sky box office or whatever, Netflix appears to be free, but sometimes you have to pay for things, don't you? Extra. And it's not free, you have to subscribe. When it's all that, I'm like, hang on, I'm not paying again. I've seen the film about 50 to 100 times in my youth. Probably more than that. Probably watched that film about 300 times. When it's on television, I'll always watch it again. But as much as I sometimes think, I'd like to watch that now. Oh, look, it's $3.99. Oh, no, thanks then. Like, I should have some sort of payback. I should be able to take my old VHS cassette and the cassette of my old DVD and say, look, I bought this. Give it me on the internet now. Because I've already bought it. I already own it. I've done... I'll tell you another little funny thing. Shall I tell it you in the big face? I used to be a hairdresser. I used to run my own salon. Oh, that's interesting. You wouldn't believe it with all that hair coming out of your hat like that, looking uncouth and untidy, would you? But I used to run a hairdressing salon. Unisex, ladies generally, but unisex, used to do men as well. And it was a lot of fun. What I'm talking about is music and cassette tapes. I'm not talking about hairdressing. But in the business, I would play my music, wouldn't I? I had a little iPod. This is the times. Do you know what I mean? Even the iPod is trash now, isn't it? A piece of trash. I had my iPod, which I thought was going to be there. That was it forever now, to the iPod. That went on the dock, and I'd play whatever songs I wanted on my iPod to the people they were having their hair done, and I was doing their hair, and we'd listen to music. And once someone came in, and they said they were from the, what's it called now? It's got a name, music licensing. And they basically told me that because I was running a public business, I would have to pay for a license to broadcast music. And I was like, well, I'll just put the radio on then. And they said, no, that counts as well. And I was like, but they've paid the license to broadcast the music on the radio. So like us tuning in, I've paid for the TV license to run the radio, so I don't have to pay again. And they were like, no, you do. And I thought, this is a scam. I looked into it, and it was a civil offence, if it were to be an offence, to broadcast this music in this. I think it was a loophole in the law anyway, because if I was running an event like a radio station, or if I was running a music event and I was broadcasting music, maybe we could consider this licence. But because I'm just a hairdresser, like running my own little hairdressing shop, I don't think I should pay the licence to use the radio, because it's just silly. Plus, I've already bought the CDs and put them on my iPod. I've paid the people that made the music, so I don't have to pay them again to play it, so that I can listen to it, so that my friend can listen to it, so that my customer, now we're in a business. Well, it's just someone whose hair I cut that's my friend, and like they bought the CD as well. Like, I mean, how many times do we have to pay for this music? So I said, I'm not going to pay for this license. You can get stuffed. I said that to them. I said, I'm not going to pay for it. You can get stuffed. And I also said, I've got another option here. There's loads of local artists, and I used to do this. I honestly used to do this. I used to get unsigned bands, local artists. Can I play your music? Yeah, thanks. Can I have it on my iPod? Yeah, thanks. And I used to just play a load of unsigned music. If they ever wanted to check, I can just say, look, that's my music. It's not licensable by you. You can just stuff off. And I used to make my own music as well, and I'd add loads of my own songs, so fine. But really what I'd do is I'd just play whatever music I want. And if they wanted to take me to court, we could argue about it, because they weren't going to get much out of me, I'll tell you that. So this impermanence, I don't know how I got into even talking about this. Oh, that was it, the buying it repeatedly and the impermanence. The media, the big point here, is that the media was eternal. Full Metal Jacket was Full Metal Jacket when I watched it on video, when other people watched it at the cinema, when I watched it on DVD, when I watched it again on telly or on, download it on the internet or whatever. Whenever I watched it, it was the same eternal piece of media, and the music is always the same eternal piece of music. But the mechanism, the medium, it's hard to talk media because we talk about the thing that it is, like the whole thing. This that you're watching now is my media product, isn't it? But the medium is video, audio, editing, Twitch. If you're in art, the media is the paint, isn't it? The paint that you work on. The medium is also the paint. But we are in art and we are in the media, so it's all confusing. But yeah, so the media is eternal. I paid for it repeatedly, different times. It doesn't matter if the video itself. I've probably still got. Actually, I don't have the video probably, because why would I even keep it? I probably threw it away. But I've still got the DVD, I'm sure, and it's scratched and it might get broken and not play. It doesn't mean Full Metal Jacket is gone. Oh, does it? It doesn't mean Full Metal. Oh, sorry, that's really rude of me to pick my nose on camera. Do you see what I'm talking about? It's itchy, and I don't want to have itchy. Do you know what I always think? This always makes me. I'm a warrior, and I've been in the woods today, and I'm like, has something flown up my nose, and is it living in me now? You see that on the telly, don't you? You see that on the telly when that happens. And you're like, oh, I hope that never happens to me. Well, that'll be a bad one. Or as a spider crawled in the night, and now it's trying to do a web. That's what I'm thinking. It's not that. It's just I've got little hairs in my nose that tickle. And because I came on stream, I gave my nose a good blow and thought, don't want to have any boogers in there. And it's just, riled it all. So yeah, the media is eternal. The medium is not. The medium is not. So VHS tapes, DVDs, at some point I realised they were a waste of time. They were useless. That in the long run, the media is eternal. And this game is talking about that. David Cronenberg, who makes films about media, his earlier work mainly, his later work's more about Hollywood, it's interesting, but the earlier work is so like this, it's mixed up all together in these aspects. The physical VHS tape, the fact you can unwind it, that tape, the sound of it is smooth and silky, but it's also plasticky. It's flammable as well, I think. Oh my days. That physicality, that... I'm going to try and think of a word. Do I want to say gruesome? It's not gruesome, I'm trying to say. What am I trying to say? It's, physical real world, your body, the blood, the fluids, it's kind of icky and dirty and grimy in a way, isn't it? But it's real. The static, the image, the tape, the way we're now dealing with this conversation we're having is that of a drug user. Not you got to make it last. I can't, or the video in some ways giving sustenance. I mean, we talk about videos online, videos, VODs, little videos. They're not really video. This was videotape, so we called them videos, video cassettes, and that terminology is carried over to short form pieces of media, little visual media. These aren't cinema films that you're watching. I'm not making a film, am I? But I kind of am. But you don't call it a film, you call it a video. Interesting, isn't it? But yeah, it's almost like the context of drug use or starvation. Maybe there's a sort of communist, poor, impoverished, desperate, starving aspect, the sustenance from the media. But for me, it feels more like, I mentioned the sort of crack house aesthetic earlier. It feels more like a sort of dingy drug use, this mattress on the floor, doesn't it? Feels more like that. No, I can't. No, I won't. Just one. You got to make it last. Do you know what? I'd give him a video. Give me the juicy one. You got a good one in there. I want it. I can't give you that one. Can't you feel it? I have to give it to someone else, or they won't let me bring you any more tapes. I've got a different one I can give you, but you can't tell anyone. I'll tell them, take this, otherwise you'll get nothing else in the future. You can have this other one for now. Oh, we got ejected. She got ejected. What happened? She disappeared. She got ejected. What? Oh. That was... Okay, like, I've never played a horror game before. And, like, I was taken aback. I wasn't scared. Like, if I was scared, you'd see it in me. You'd know the difference. I'd probably grab for a weapon. I wasn't scared. I was surprised by that. And it was almost funny in a sort of gruesome and weird way. Like, what was all that stuff around the side of her head? That's what goes on when you start doing these tapes, is it? Oh, hello. Oh, I'm controlling this vehicle, so all of a sudden Scotty Hottie has got to prevent us from crashing. So you keep your... All of a sudden, Scotty Hottie's in charge. I've got the tapes. This is nice, isn't it? It reminds me of that game No Thing, which I'll show you another time on stream. Very nice game, No Thing, excellent again, lovely graphical aesthetic, all that. A different conversation for another time. And it's also got a sort of Blade Runner-y, that Neo Cab game we had a look at. It's got a bit of that. It's a very nice little sequence, this. Travelling. Look at the red in the distance, the way the red interacts with the green and brings this green to life. Oh, it's gone. Shall I have a go at crashing? Ugh. Sorry. I mean, it's only videotape. Ooh. Can I do the horn? You should always put a horn in if you're playing in a car. Right, this has been going on for a little while now, hasn't it? How strange. Like, no action. Ooh. But do you know that game, I was going to talk about this in the bus driver edit, that game Road across Arizona or something, where you have to play for like hours and hours and the bus keeps veering away and you have to keep control of it, otherwise, you know, it kind of demands your concentration, but nothing much is happening. Oh, that's changed to a gun. Hang on. My tapes were there, now it's a gun. No worries. Tapes are quite important though, aren't they? And I'm chuffing. I used to have them and now I've only got a gun. Hang on, is it something like if I keep looking away into it, is it going to keep changing? Or oh, can I pick up my gun? No. There's the red in the distance. It's kind of been like those pixels appear to be like laid over the. Oh, it's the windscreen, isn't it? The windscreen's dirty. Beautiful. Very well done. Very subtle, but very well done. Grimy. Time to get grimy. My gun's gone. I'm on a ring road. This is unnerving. No, it's got to the point where it feels unnerving. Again, I'm really pleased with that. Really well done. What a good game. There's my tapes back. What am I supposed to be doing? Am I doing this wrong? Pressing all the other buttons. They're not doing anything. Oh, I can interact with that, look.
Yeah, I got film and he worked on up a camera. What they call tailoring. It's called calling.
Yeah? I'm at the gas station. I call it the gas station because I've been Americanized, but actually in the UK we call it a petrol station or a garage. Crisps. I love them. In America you call them chips. We've been through this before. I'm not allowed to keep them. It's a shame, isn't it? Imagine making all those bags of crisps, putting them in the game, and then I'm not allowed to eat them. You can pick them up though. Makes you think there's something, you know, something you're missing that you might stumble upon. Tell you something else it reminds me of. Something else it brings to mind is in the late 90s, there was a TV show with Craig Charles, who was off Red Dwarf. I don't know if anyone's going to remember this. I don't know if it probably, I'm going to describe this, and then it's going to turn out that I live in this alternate universe where things didn't happen, and I can't explain why. But there was a TV show. It was Craig Charles. He was the bloke off Red Dwarf, but what he was doing was it was a virtual reality based competitive game show when virtual reality was really in its early stages, and they had these rigs that were like big round rigs, and you run on this thing, and they had the headgear, and then you had the arms and the things put on you, and it was all wired up like big cables going off everywhere. And so because all that was so big and expensive, it was basically a bit like Robot Wars is now. It was like an arena with that in the middle, people all around the outside cheering, way, way. And then the competitors took it in turns to do their go on the VR. And the VR was so, like, when it happened, when they did the VR, Craig Charles would go, build me a Borg. And then everyone would go, Borg, 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 Borg. And you'd see this virtual reality character appear on your screen, like from foot up, like as if the computer was assimilating it, building a Borg. They called it a Borg. Like now you'd call it an avatar, wouldn't you? But they didn't know what to call it, a Borg. They call it like a virtual reality person. And all it was really was someone in the editing room just moving the fader, because they've already got this virtual reality character in the edit. They're just, making it appear on the screen like it's being constructed out of computer. And then once you could see it, then they'd like cut to the virtual reality. So now you're seeing what the people are seeing. And sometimes you'd see that in the screen like this. It was almost like streaming back in the day on a television show for half an hour on Channel 4 on a Friday or something. And you'd see what they were doing. And what they would be doing is something like, they'd be going around like a really block city and looking for like 4 green balls, or just something really simple, or like shooting games where it was just like knock down the bottle. Like it was just really, it was even worse than this polygons, no textures, none of that, just green for the grass, grey for the road, just really, and like jerky frames, like really early VR. But of course, as a kid, I watched that and I was like, oh my god, isn't it amazing? Isn't that virtual reality amazing? Oh my god, I'm playing on a NES, but one day I'm going to have a virtual reality at home. I still haven't got one. In fact, that's a good point. Streams just made me realise I can actually probably afford that now. I could probably afford one of those quests, couldn't I? Wow. We could have a virtual reality stream. Anyway, it was a dream as a kid. My other dream was the Super Nintendo, made real. The Super Nintendo was my dream made real, because I wanted the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4-player arcade machine at home. Now you can get that now on the Switch coming out soon. Oh god, it's going to be good. Yeah. Like my Nintendo was just as good as an arcade machine. I was so pleased with it. But yeah, this reminds me of that. It reminds me of the early Build Me a Borg, really simple virtual reality polygons that at the time we found so fascinating and amazing. Look, they're building virtual spaces. Look, these are traversable, and you can put this mask on. You could be in the game. And of course, I'm not wearing a mask, but I'm in the game because I'm playing it. These are spaces that we've built. And initially, when you were first looking at, the first computer graphics, the first designed spaces, they were amazing as seeing into outer space or something, because it was a world of possibility, an infinite world of possibility begun to make real. I think in a way, Minecraft is like this as well. Minecraft feels like that. They're very simple concepts, aren't they? Very simple shapes, but your imagination does the rest in a way, and you kind of say, wow, look, you could do anything like this would be in the world. Oh, I'd love to be there running around and whatever, it's got that feel to it as well. That sort of let's go back to the Nintendo Switch. That sort of original, not original as in new and unique, but original as in early, first concept. OG. Yeah, this feels like an OG game, doesn't it? And because it's made now, it doesn't jerk and herky jerk and whatever. It's smooth. I'm really in it. There's a lot that when I was young I dreamed of having just built into this. Even just being able to walk around in here, there's a lot in that. And I know that, okay, we take it for granted in every other game, don't we? But it's sort of, this game has designed itself in such a way that it manages to find that soul, that 8-bit soul, that, actually, I'm saying 8-bit, but Nintendo 64, of course, was 64, wasn't it? 16 for the Super Nintendo, doubling each time and blowing my mind with the... I thought they might have gone up like from 8-bit to 10-bit to 12-bit. It doubled, 16, 64, 32-bit, 64-bit. Like, oh, they were just huge leaps, weren't they? And that 64-bit, so, I don't know, I'm not an expert in computer tech, so bear in mind what I'm saying, take it with a pinch of salt, but the N64, 64-bit, whatever, it might be wrong in my terminology, that 64-bit soul, that the polygon dreams, because we didn't dream in ray trace back then. We dreamed in polygons. I thought in 20 years time, 30 years time, when I'm a grown up, I'm going to have my own virtual reality machine, and my little brain didn't think it's going to look like real, they're going to have water effects and that. I saw this. I said in 20 years time, I'm going to have that in my own home. Here I am at home. Not only have I got it, I'm broadcasting it to you. Okay, it's not virtual reality headset. This game would be so good in virtual reality, wouldn't it? It would be so good in virtual reality. I imagine you could take these themes and this concept and step it up a gear for virtual reality, and maybe the tapes could be like, maybe this could be like a prequel, and the sequel in virtual reality could be more involved with data transferring, the way we upload, download, this glitch system, this I feel like people are being ejected, like I'm being fast forwarded. We do a lot now with media because it's digital, that what's evocative here from tapes could be brought to the virtual reality space. And I'm sure the team that did this, with a bit of money behind them and a few more team members to take some of the weight and the pressure off, could just absolutely fly with some of those concepts. They've done such a good job here. I'm so impressed. And bear in mind, all I'm doing is wandering around looking for tapes. I'm not... They didn't have to give me a... I don't have to explain games to you. I've been looking for an RPG for a while. A really good one. And this has knocked my socks off. And I don't even have a backpack or an inventory. Good luck figuring out how to cook ramen on the road. Oh, is that what I bought? Oh, it's easy. What you do is you just put the water in the bag and then put it in your engine and then drive, and then when you get there, you've ruined your engine and your ramen. Have you got any of that lowland milk? No thanks, I'm vegan. Where's the nearest place to eat before the border? Well, I've got ramen. I need something to keep me awake. Drugs. Yeah, we've got 12-hour Spitfire, Beasley Bub, that sounds like the devil, doesn't it? And Auntie M's Old Remedy. Anyone you'd recommend? Oh, please, the 12-hour Spitfire and not Auntie M's Old Beazle Toes. Oh, Auntie M's. She makes it over in Rio Laredo. Rio Laredo. That sounds nice, doesn't it? Rio Laredo. Local stuff, then. Are they implying that we are in some border territory? Beautiful. Again, if they are. Part of the naked... I keep going, sorry about that. I'm just a talker, just a normal human talker. In Naked Lunch, us, our main protagonist, we would go to the intrazone, partly through drug confusion and partly because there's things in that I still don't really understand. Partly because they went on a bus trip and ended up there or something. I think it represents Morocco and a sort of, like I said, Freeport concept of trade, Wild West, unregulated. Post-war, Second World War. Casablanca, the film Casablanca, they're in Morocco and there's Nazis and Westerners, and it hasn't been taken by either, and it's sort of maintains this marketplace feel. It's weird, yeah, these concepts. And they go to the intrazone, which is this Moroccan style, Freeport, like we're talking about. This border, she makes it over in Rio Ladero. I mean, maybe I'm not Laredo. Maybe Rio Laredo is not a border. Maybe I'm in South America. I don't. But it feels like we've been in a Western-esque, almost communist, maybe Eastern Bloc area. And then this name Rio Laredo is South American, isn't it? Or at least south of America. United States, Texas, Mexico, New Mexico, that way, isn't it? Los Angeles. Maybe it's that way. But they don't seem to marry. And then he said local stuff then. Auntie M's. Auntie M is like a traditional Western concept, isn't it? It's just, yeah. Am I being ironic when I say local stuff? Irony presented to us in such a small textual form. Beautiful. Is this a male or a female that I'm buying it off? And look at the way they look at you when you're moving. Ooh, look at the way they look at you when you're moving. Ooh, that's creepy as chuff, isn't it? That is creepy as chuff. I was going to look at you from another angle, but since you're looking at me, I'll just come back. Local stuff then. Family too. No kidding. This won't give me a heart attack or anything, will it? Where's the nearest place to eat before the border? Oh, there is a border. They mentioned it before then, maybe. Burger Bills. Yeah, they mentioned it before. No wonder it's got in my mind. That was smarty boy read a word and then was like, oh, they infused the game with it. But they did. They have. Look, there's other reasons. There's those conversational reasons. Nearest place open this late is Burger Bills, close to the border, and you've got more places. What do you like? Mexicans there. So yeah, I've got this theme about where we are now. I am vegan, so I'm going to say Mexican because it's most likely to have vegan food. There's a cluster of fast food places near the place. Varies if you want. Thanks. No problem. Need anything to keep you going? Well, I've already done that, haven't I? What are you reading? It's a book by some guy named Eric. It's about how aliens are better than us. But aliens don't exist. That's what you think. What are we now? Area 51 out in the desert. I've never seen an alien. You're saying I'm wrong? That's what we're supposed to say, isn't it? Wink. Oh, right on. I've seen aliens, How do you know it was an alien? Well, I don't know for sure, but it didn't look like a person. You were saying they're better than us. Yeah, not just technologically, but also morally and spiritually as well. Well, that wouldn't be hard, would it? Welcome to humanity. Do you know what? Big face. Could you imagine if aliens turned up, right? An organised race. Organised themselves so they've got space travel going. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just one little spin-off. Maybe the other aliens are on their planet still scruffling about. I feel, the concepts we always seem to have when we look at these, maybe not so much in the more modern sci-fi because these ideas are now explored, but in the traditional sci-fi, aliens, like even through Star Trek, you've got the Borg. They're all the Borg. They're all the same politically. Do you know what I mean? When aliens arrive in films where they attack us, they're all politically aligned and all on the same team. They don't fly in and go start arguing amongst themselves because one of them's a bit racist against the other alien who's from a different part of that off-world planet. Do you know what I mean? They're all in it together. And if they arrived here, we wouldn't be. He wouldn't have a plan. We wouldn't be able to put our heads together. They'd be like, take me to your leader. And we'd be like, well, which one? This one's our leader for 10 minutes over here. They've got another 4 years on their clock over here. This one says they're the leader, but only of this little country, and we don't respect them, but, they say they're the leader, and so we let them go on. And even though they're starving, we should mention this more often, the Koreans, we should sort that chuffing stuff out, man. Get out there. Let's try. It's about time the vegan peacemonger decided to go to war with China. It's about time we did something about China and the fact that they fuel these, like Afghanistan. We have decided the West, America, UK, have decided to go out of it, stay out of it. But China are filling the void, aren't they? Filling the void. And North Korea and stuff. It's bad for the people. Bad for the people. Anyway, it wouldn't be hard to be more technologically advanced, potentially. If you're arriving in a spaceship, we're going to take it for granted. You're more technologically advanced. And then morally and spiritually. I don't know about spiritually. I mean, we're on the wane spiritually, aren't we? secularization is on the increases. There's only 30% of people in the UK now actually believe in Jesus at all, like, and that would include Christians and Muslims, because Muslims believe in Jesus. So yeah, there's like not so many religious people around. And morally don't get me started. Don't you get me started on morally, you chuffers. Don't you even get me started on morally. Morally, what makes them morally superior to us? Well, we're all chuffers, aren't we? We're all doing the bad things. Not me. I'm doing the good things. I'm trying my chuffing hardest to make up for you chuffers. Spiritually, wouldn't the existence of aliens disprove God? You'd think God can't make aliens, or aliens. No, yeah, that doesn't disprove God. In the Quran, they talk about other literally talks about other. I want to say cultures. I mean, like other cultures on other planets that went before that we don't know of. That, like, it talks about that have been before, that have been completely grown, flourished, and destroyed. Like, other religions do talk about aliens. And I tell you what would be interesting, wouldn't it? Could you imagine if aliens landed on the planet and they were like, so, where's Jesus? And we were like, what? And they were like, where's Jesus? And I'd be like, what? We've come to meet Jesus. This is the planet where Jesus came down. You'd be like, well, that confirms it, doesn't it? Or does it? Does it mean they just found the stories through? You know, you have to ask them about it. But let's say, no, we've heard about it on our planet. We had a God thing as well, and God told us about Jesus, and we've come here to meet him. And we'd be like, oh, you can't meet him. We've, like, long time ago now, we sort of murdered him. And they'd be like, you did what? And we'd be like, well, we didn't know. I say we, it wasn't me. It was the Romans. Back then, the Romans, they didn't think he was God magic. They just thought he was like a terrorist, really, or in a way, a sort of spiritual terrorist. So they decided to murder him. And then the aliens would be like, oh, we've come here to meet him, and you've done that. What if they came down from their alien spacecraft and went, Allah Akbar, nice to meet you? You'd be like, oh, gosh, should I have been Muslim all my life? It could confirm the existence of God, is what I'm saying. It could confirm it, couldn't it? If another culture from way out there that had never even met us came down, oh, we don't know anything about you and your culture. We're just arriving, and this is our culture. We believe in this, and you'd be like, oh, we've got one of them. They'd be like, what about Buddhism? And they'd say, oh, I don't know anything about Buddhism. Tell us. And you go, all right, so that's not. But you know about the Quran. Oh, we've got the Quran on this planet as well. Oh, have you? Oh. So it could make sense. All right, so God makes aliens, and they might be angels. Humans aren't normally seen as worse than angels, though. Why are we having this chat at the petrol station, mate? If God judges us worthy of becoming angels like St. Peter, then we must be just as good. I could get into that even deeper, but I've done enough chuffing on about theology. This is not the time. You didn't think about it like that. It could all be bullshit, though. Oh, I said swear word. Well, actually, I might be passing through late on my way back here. Any place good to stay? There's not much around here. Super 16 burned down a while ago. There's the Mesquite and Ranchero, but they're both down the highway a couple of miles. Big signposts, ordinary chains really, nothing special. Like, this is such a weird conversation. It's gone from aliens to the mundane. I begin to feel lightheaded when I've done so much talking. Let me just see how long we've been running. An hour and 40 minutes, right? So this is supposed to be an hour long, this game, and I have to do it in one sitting as well. So I'm gonna have to crack on. We're never gonna get through it. The Super 16 burned down, if you say so. At this point now, though, I'm like, let's get out of this petrol station and see what's going on. The waffle thing, yeah, waffles. It ain't the waffles. You can buy 4 ounces of jerky for $10. Local deer. Oh, I'm vegan. I'd rather eat pancakes, honestly. It's a lie, apparently. Your friend filling up out there still? Well, that's weird, because we don't have any friends. Where are you headed? Across the border, of course. They're both lies. I'll tell a lie. I don't like telling lies. Make sure you check out the electric rocks. Oh, we're having more chat. Tourist attraction south of the border. Apparently it was some ancient ground for shamans who communed with beings from another world. Aliens, I'm thinking again. But of course, if they're electric rocks and we've got these weird cassette things going on, we're going to have to go and check that out. There we are. I'm now outside. I mean, should I be going in the car or if I just arrived. I was facing the car, wasn't I? So I've got a feeling I've been parked up for a bit and I've come back from the darkness. I can go into the darkness and not worry because I can always see the car out there. Oh, hello. Oh, how beautiful. That is, you probably know, but if you don't, I haven't seen that in such a long time. There was a thing on the video recorder called tracking. You don't have it on a DVD and digital. What you do, like the screen would do this, and you'd be like, "Oh, it's tracking's out," and you go and twist the tracking button, and as you twist the tracking button, the tracking would slow down and get. See how it's still moving there? You can still see it scanning through the picture, because what's happened? It's like making the new picture line by line, and because I think this is right, I'm a bit confused on exactly what tracking is, to be honest. But because of the frequency that you're running your system at, like maybe it changes. I don't know. Certainly, that's if you were watching this on video, you would now say, "Look, the tracking's out." Go and twist the tracking. Such a beautiful artifact to have put into this, and it gives you that tripping, like I was talking about earlier, that brain damage element of tripping. And I'm not suggesting that every time you trip your brain gets damaged, but it's a correlation between the things people see when they're brain damaged and the things people see when they're really, really tripping. Like this visual effect of like frame rate can seem to happen. Nowadays you'd call that frame rate or something, you'd think, but it's tracking. Beautiful. Like someone's idea that's been made real and it works so well. And you don't have to have me running around with guns and inventory and all this. It's a brilliant, brilliant experience that I'm having. A bit like I'm having a stroke. But it's brilliant. It is. This is good. This is good. Let's go in the box then. Feels like we should, shouldn't it? Go on then, I'll have my camera. Oh, it's night time. Daytime. That's nice. I've got a camera. It is the daytime. I'm either off into the woods. Why am I going so slow? Or I'm over there to take a photograph. I'm not really over there, am I? There's a barrier. Alright, we're off into the woods. Oh, because I'm going to look for the metal rocks. And it's a sightseeing trip. And I'm south of the border now. That's me running. That's run speed. Little Tweety bird giving you the feel. For once, the inauthentic quality of these renders, these polygons, it's not, now I feel a little bit more like Lego Minecraft World because I think they're forced to stick with this style, but I don't feel it works as well for the trees, for me, personally. It almost feels like, and when that happened then, my first thought, all right, we'll use the camera in a minute. My first thought was, did I just have a stroke? Not joking about these things, but God, I thought, is there something wrong in my brain then when that happened? Of course, I should remember that this has been happening all the way through the game. And what was I doing? Just dissing the trees. They're not that bad. ZR to use the camera. ZL. Zoom. It's obviously that I'm zooming on, isn't it? Should take a photo of it. Whatever it is. What is it? It looks like a mouth or a bumhole or something. Right, I've took a photo of that now. I mean, that's it for this area, so let's walk slowly forward and see if we can make it any clearer. But you know what, now I'm appreciating these trees a little more. Through the camera they look a little bit more imposing and dank. That's going to attack. We need something to protect. Did I get that? Was that like a win that I took? Because it went green, didn't it, for a second? What is that? Oh, it's gone. Okay, this is cool as well, right? What's cool about it is it demands your attention all of a sudden. Like, I'm hunting now. I'm hunting. Hunting is a funny word. I'm a vegan. I'm mentally hunting this scene for visual information because I'm holding a camera and I'm trying to take some photos of maybe a bird. Oh, green, that one. See, look. The bird was there. It flew somewhere else. 2 dots down the bottom right there. 2 wins on the bird vision counter thing. So, I mean, it's like all of a sudden I'm now in the mechanics of a game. Gripped. And look at it. I know people like play Minecraft and they're going to, I think younger people are going to see this visual style and think Minecraft more primarily than the things I've been describing. And now we're out into this more natural environment. It has got a lot of that to it. But of course, only texturally, because that texture's there, but there's no blocks, is there? And this is now, I'm forced to move slowly. I'm trying to run. Very, whilst it's also captured my attention, it's also very calming in a way. Why am I going so slow? It's starting to annoy me that I'm going this slow. And because the visual information is so, you know, all these greens laid on each other now. The bird that I'm looking for is dark. Oh, it's gone again. It's, you know, you're forced to almost squint and strain in to. Makes you feel like you're in the dark. I'm not in the dark, I've got lights on. Makes me feel like I'm in the dark. Maybe I should be in the dark, you wouldn't be able to see me. Now I'm getting lost. 3 dots. I've got 3 winning dots. Let's have another bird, come on. Where's the bird? Show me the bird. So I can move on with the puffing chuffing thing. There he is. There's another one. Where did it go then? It's over there. Oh, I've got you now, birdo. You've gone that way. What? What about me? Where am I going? Come on, let's get to the chuffing bird. Walking in treacle. I think they should have made this more, you know, it should definitely be able to move quicker. I don't think it serves to, I think it serves to frustrate me a little. Like an itch you can't scratch, just walking in treacle. Because if I've gone the wrong way now, there's going to be loads of trouble because I'm going to have to walk all the way back up there, aren't I? Oh, please no. What's this thing? Where's the little... Oh, that's creepy, isn't it, the way that... Very nice again, though. Very nice. Okay, we're getting into some nice bits again. I'm glad they dragged me down here. You feel that that's an iron structure, a rusted iron structure, from the simplicity of the design, but mainly from the sound design. And yeah, it's a bit spooky. I'm not scared, but the sound design's so good, isn't it? Eerie and quiet. Where's the chuffing bird? Where, oh, please don't say that I've gone... I don't like this now because I feel like if I was on my own, it'd be alright, but because I'm entertaining, we're here together on stream, I don't want it to just turn into me wandering around for ages, you get bored. But it's moving slowly. Can't go off there. Where's the bird? I need 2 more shots of the bird, please. And it flew off up there, didn't it? So I've got to get up there. Come on. Agony now. Come on, you. Let's be having you. Come on, you. 2020. What's 20 o'clock? Is that 8 o'clock? 29. 10. It's 8 o'clock, isn't it? 20. It's 8:20 in the UK. So I've still got lots of time. Oh, please. Where's my bird? It went up there, didn't it? Oh, no, no, no. Where's the pink bird? I mean, this was clearly the way, wasn't it? This was clearly the way. And I've got to feel like that ledge is where we're supposed to go. Because I've got dragged down here, I took a photo, the pink bird disappeared, My other bird went up there. Can I climb on this? Am I going slow because I've got the camera out, maybe? No, I'm just going slow. Can't. No buttons to do any doing. I'll get the camera out again. Oh, you chuffers, you chuffers. I've got to have been going down here, surely, because it's funneling me down here. I can't climb up on that. I can't climb up on anything over there if I can't climb up on that. There's a path here. There's this thing that they designed with the sound design. You know, it's got to be this way. 2 paths. Taking the upper path. Where's your bird? Come on, where's the bird? Can I get up this thing? Path leads to nowhere, look. Leads to an edge that I can't cross. This round here, agony now, isn't it? Agony. It's down here. Make sure the path. Look, your other path leads to nowhere. What the chuff? F's in chat. Oh no. Oh. Oh, you see, cheeky. I didn't play N64 for 5 years for nothing. Now the speed is acceptable because I feel a little bit like I'd go slow here anyway. Oh, whoa! I crashed.
Well, his sorry, Carl. I guess his involved was called Caloran. Stupid boy.
Is that the radio?
It came Caloran to call that call still, yeah.
Where's the ladder? He told me to say, where are they?
Oh, I crashed. What is the... Turn you on there, chat, just in case you want to appear on the video. Nice opportunity, because we're going to edit this review.
It's where it's color, but the roster told color cake to fall.
That voice is becoming more clear, isn't it?
Or from I don't know. Got this ball can and calls. So your guy is called.
That was almost...
It's man, it's so cool. It's cool. Now a call to come here and a call. So
there's almost words in there. It's almost... I'll do this now. This is what would happen. This is what it'd be like if I did have a stroke. Esperemos math. Maniam process them. You know? It's like that, isn't it? It's like that gibberish sort of speak. But within it, there's almost occasionally like, yeah, okay. Or like I tell you what's so beautiful. Again, so well done. So well done. Like, was it just 3 names at the start of this game? Were there just 3 names that made this game? If it's 3 people that made this game and no more, I've seen these small teams in action. I've seen them working, but it still blows my mind. Like 3 people, I'm guessing you must have had like a team of at least 6 to 10 additional, you know, but maybe 3 people did. I don't know. It's so good. It's spaces to think. It's pieces of artwork to invoke the feelings and thoughts. It's placing you in the artwork. It's a story of sorts. It's questions and concepts. And it's just well crafted. I mean, I paid, what did I pay? Like £2.50, $2, $3 for this on the sale, Nintendo Switch. I don't like paying a lot of money for something that isn't a 40-hour... Like Skyrim, I think $40 was fair back then. Like in the UK, £30 to me £30 is about $40. I think is about right for a computer game maximum. When I was a kid, the NES games baffled me on how expensive they were because there wasn't that much to them. You know, they were really expensive compared to the amount. But then computers were new and amazing, weren't they? But these days, you know, I think it should be even cheaper. I know there's a lot of work that goes into these things. It's just maybe the monetization. We're not making a video about monetization, but the monetization options that they've gone through. It always baffles me why we are forced to sit through so much advertising in every other form of media, but why a video game can't get like a big sponsor just to sort of, you know, take some of the financial pressure off just by putting a few. I mean, I'd hate it, wouldn't I? I'd hate it. I'm really against advertising in artwork. But with the AAA games, you know, like your main big, really expensive ones. I mean, think about I play Hearthstone a lot, and I pay through the nose if I want to pay and get the expansions and all that. I have done in the past. I'm not going to do it anymore. But imagine if that just had like a little brought to you by Coca-Cola on it, and then I didn't have to pay for the cards. Thank you, Coca-Cola. I hate you and all that you stand for, Coca-Cola. But, you know, your little corporate branding, free money, train, you know, all the money they spend on marketing promotion. Imagine an indie company got a bit of a sponsor like that, and it just took all the pressure off, and then they were able to really go. And instead of having it, you know, worked into the game, like I said, and spoiling it, maybe it just said brought to you by, you know, a little bit of a sponsorship on that, something like that. Instead of like people having to worry about like microtransactions and this and that, and I don't know how I really got onto that from this. But what I was just saying, you know, 3 people did all this. Wow. I mean, a small team, and I didn't feel it was worth the full whack. Now I've played it, I would probably give them the full whack. Now I've been playing it, I didn't want to pay the full whack because I thought it was a short experience. I won't play it over and over again. Where's my value in that? It's not worth the money to me, because I'm coming from a concept of 40 hours plus gameplay, Skyrim, $40. You know, there's my benchmark. So you better be coming up to something like that for, you know, if it's half the price, it better be half the chuffing at least. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Indie games, pricing, difficult, isn't it? Support the arts. Buy this one for full whack. It's really worth it. Even if it's a little more than you would spend. I'm not here to promote games to you or anything. You know, I'm not getting sponsored by these people. But even if it's a bit more money than you think you might be willing to spend, you're supporting artists. I'd love to get these people on stream to talk to. In fact, I'm going to try to tomorrow. Not that they'll be on stream tomorrow, but I'll send them an email tomorrow and say how wonderful their game is and all that. Yeah, and so this bringing it back to what just happened, the voice was so well acted because it had all the intonation of a real conversation, but it was garbage. Like the Sims, like they had those little voices, didn't they? But this was acted to perfection. It felt like I was listening to a foreign language.
With all that song go call and hey though got some of that. We'll call right back to me, give work.
I don't know if you saw then, we had a little bit of a V hold. I don't know, again, the tracking was going up and down is it vertical, horizontal, that is, isn't it? I don't know. The V hold on the video, sometimes it would warp. You can see my hands, you need to see my hands. Sometimes your screen would like warp on an angle like that. It just start to flick and warp, like the top would go off the edge, the V hold, and it would sometimes just happen a little quick, and sometimes it, I mean, again, you'd have a little knob that you could twist on the video to fix it. I'm living inside the tape.
Just walk in, you will walk like here. I just can't walk word. Walk in and walk with me one home.
Tapes are gone again.
But if you walk well, get up a day. Is it cool, Paul? Yeah. Wow. Of course. It's pretty one.
That's reversed.
Oh, well, welcome back outside. Get on stage. That's kind of cool, boy. Let's see, cool. Now, this is Ultimate Music Grip. Huh?
I want to sound my new front. And
Guns back.
Well, listen, we call the phone, our listener, we're called Nits Yeah. No, it's different.
I mean, I'm pausing this now. There are some. I how do I want to explain this? In the 60s, not now, of course, not me. In the 60s, people would take certain narcotics, be they magic mushrooms or wacky backy, not talking about narcotics heavily on stream, so please don't terms of service me. But in the 60s, they would do this, and they'd get trippy, and they'd be like, listen to the music, man, or like, look at the colours, man, and like, you'd make media, like, abstract media for people to watch. And I don't know if you've ever been to a rave, but at the raves I used to go to, the slamming drum and bass, dirty slamming drum and bass raves, and the garage tents, and then sometimes the trance visuals in the rave. They'd put up these like big screens with like strange visuals going on to enhance this trippy effect, like this pounding beat. And there's this whole culture around. I mean, it's partly influenced, of course, by the narcotics element, but this hippie, trippy culture, trance music. I mean, the concept of a trance, isn't it? Like, trippy culture. I don't know exactly where I'm trying to draw my boundary around this, trippy culture. I'm sure there must be a different or better word for it than I'm explaining. Psychedelic, that's the word, isn't it? Psychedelic, that's the word. But in modern times, we're so far away from that 60s psychedelia, but we have a sort of modern... I'm going to say this. I'm going to have to eat some cake as well when I say this, because I'm hungry and my tummy rumbled. But we're going to go to Big Face, and I'm going to say some, not controversial, but things that I worry about saying on the internet because of terms of service. I'm not promoting drug use, okay? I'm not promoting drug use. Little bite of cake, little sip of tea. Have that, tummy. In the 60s, this concept of peace and love and trippy and hippie, wacky backy, man, it wasn't harmful and offensive and blunt force and sharp edge. Drugs evolved, culture evolved, and the strength of the drugs evolved. Now you're talking about crack, meth, and other things. Dark, hard edge, lose all your teeth, get stabbed. Bad things, real dark, hard edge, bad things. So psychedelia of the past, and those, even in the modern terms, like we're saying, the raves, the rave culture, the acid house, they used to call it at the rave culture. I'm not using acid obviously it was in terms of the drug, but it was popularised as acid house music, and people who didn't understand drug culture would never consider touching a drug, would sometimes listen to acid house because they like the music. So there was that psychedelia running through it, certainly when I was growing up in the UK, but at the same time there was this ever evolving hard edge, blunt edge. And if you're not you of course, but the people who at that hard edge, that blunt edge, they're not, I'm trying to talk around this carefully without saying anything that's going to be against terms of service, of course, anything too graphic or whatever, but people who are suffering through the consequence of heavy drug addiction, hard drugs, they are not enjoying the psychedelic trip. They're not wearing the funny glasses and cool man in it, peace, hippie, flowers and trippy visuals. That's not what they're on. They're away down this hard, blunt edge, this dark, nasty, seedy. You're vulnerable, but you have to do things because you're addicted to this drug that's destroying you. That hard edge. What we're experiencing in this game is a combination of these concepts in a really beautiful way. I wonder if there's something about drug addiction or the harm drugs do to society, and the harm the war on drugs does to society. I wonder if there's something about that wrapped up in this. I mean, it might not be. I like to put things onto media, don't I? I like to put things onto art, the concepts and feelings that I have. Transference. is a Freudian concept. Sigmund Freud, the great philosopher, psychologist. Sigmund Freud said that you transfer your feelings and emotions onto your therapist, onto your parents, and your ideas about your parents you transfer onto your lover and your partner. They're the same person, of course. You don't have a different lover and a partner. You know, you transfer these ideas, and ideas can be transferred like that, these concepts. Yeah, transference. So I like to transfer my themes and ideas from, you know, whatever makes up my psyche comes out when I look at art. I think that these things come up. I think these ideas, I don't know if the artist designed them into it. Maybe I'm just reading into it something that's not there. Or maybe art creates another thing. Like maybe my idea, maybe this art space, this idea space, once the art is uploaded into it, created, manifest, made, and the idea space, whatever the idea space allowed you to draw upon to create this art, is now being projected out through the art, and that idea space is what's created that idea about dogs and, oh hello doggy, about, you know, society and harm. It's just, all right, I'm doing me reading on the internet about society and harm. Maybe that's created in the idea space, and therefore not owned by the artist nor me. Marlo. You alright? Did you just wake up, son? Daddy's here. Hang on, I'm just going to have to check and see if the cat's bullying him. The cat bullies the dog, you see. He had a little drinky. So yeah, I don't know if I need another drinky as well. I should have got one while I was up, shouldn't I? I don't know if that's created in the idea space, put into the game by the author. Maybe one day we'll get to talk to them about it. But I feel there's this undertone of those themes that I've just discussed. How about that, eh? How about that?
Oh, so got like a whole dog square. Yep. Okay. Lots going on, so
Another thing I was going to say, whilst the other scene seemed like agony, I could actually stay in this space quite a long time now. I'm quite enjoying this car ride and this strange audio. I feel like if I was to go to like a short film festival and this was a short film and I were to watch it instead of play it, I'd equally enjoy it. Being immersed in this experience is interesting, isn't it?
And well, she's calling from Kong as well. Oh, they're around.
Hey, all solid? Yeah, can you hear it? No. Okay,
I'm here again. I did expect it this time though. I expected some sort of transition. Should I go backwards or the way I was pointed at? Oh, it's agonisingly slow again. Okay, I'm going the way I was pointing. There's another birdie. I've still got 2 more birdies to shoot. Shoot in terms of camera, of course. It's all these shipping crates now, are they? Where's birdie gone? Oh, don't trick me, a merry dance. It's up there. I'll give you the drinky. You've had the drinky now. Don't need to do too much drinky in because you'll need to wet your pants later on. Oh, sound design's picking up. Oh, sweet. Look at this. Look at this. Big Brother's watching you, huh? In the woods. Look at that. Concrete. Post. Camera. Sinister. There's more of them. They mentioned aliens earlier. Oh, my face. Okay. I've got a battery for that. Hang on. Spare battery time. time. This is a good stream today, I'll tell you what. You might think, well, what's he doing with his bad face? Having to go and feed the doggy and give him a drinky, but this is a good stream. It's actually going really well. I'll just let that, I'll give the doggy another drinky and just fill up my cup of tea with water. Ooh, every time, man. Every time I come in this room, I kick that light. Oh, I've got to get comfy. I kick that light and it's bright and it's on the floor. I mean, how am I not spotting that? So, this game is awesome. Paratopic. I'm very pleased with it. I'm hoping I manage to finish it in the next hour and then walk the dog at the approved time. That's what I'm hoping now. Getting in deeper, aren't we? Sinister. We've had one nice jump scare. And for a horror game, dubbed, you know, billed as a horror game, I saw, it's not gone heavy on the jump scares, which I actually really like, because I think that's cheap. I think it's too easy. Especially when you're forcing someone in terms of film, you can craft it, you know, you can build to an event and then, oh, jump scare. And then you do one earlier in the film and then you replicate it later to amplify it. Yeah, you know, those sort of things. But in a game, because you're sort of controlling, you know, objectives and the way people move and where they're supposed to go and all that, and then like you saw here, they just chuffed it in your face. It can be a little bit easy, can't it? A little bit... and if they repeat it over and over again as a running motif, you're kind of like looking out for it. But they handled it really well here. It seemed to fit with the flow of the narrative. And it seemed to tell part of the narrative to us, like she was watching this video, consuming it in some way, and it did something to her. Oh look, the trees are wobbling. Beautiful. Now, see, I dissed the trees earlier, and now you do that to them, and you prove me wrong. It's almost like they're... What? It's almost... Okay, so you know the Blair Witch Project? Have you ever seen that film? You wander about in the woods and you're scared. We've all done it. We've all been for a wander about in the woods with our dog and got lost and ended up scared. And you find something that looks a bit weird and you think, oh no, I hope I don't die out here. Like, this is almost like what somebody who constructed a tree for you. Like if the Blair Witch made trees and put them in the woods herself out of old matting. Yeah, it's giving a real eerie feel now, the movement in them. Love it, I love it. I love this game, it's brilliant. Love is a strong word. I don't say, oh, I love products, or here's my new tweet about my new shoes that I love. You know, I don't say that. I love people and places. I love this game. Oh, where have you gone? Oh, don't go away from me, birdie. Oh, you're up there, okay. It's that weird the way I attach this hope to this birdie now. Like, it's my only... I'm not getting any more photos of this other bird, am I? I need 2 more, apparently. These dots tell me at the bottom right. It's weird how I'm attached. I don't really know what this... I've never seen this thing close enough, detail-wise, to see exactly what it really is. But all my hope and determination is to move toward it. And amongst this drab, you know, we've seen a little bit of red in the sunset. Got a lot of red in these rocks now. Earthy tones. But the pink, you know, we've not been offered a lot of colour in this palette, have we? This beautiful green scale. And yet, just out of reach. Sort of bubblegum pink. Very maternal, very, is uterine a word? Like uterus? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to be polite about female parts as well, so... But you know what I mean? Like, it's like... been offered us, like it's been held out in front of us like a, oh hello, hello. Look how good this is. Like, I'm feeling this like I would, like imagine you just listening to a tune and the bass kicks in, like, and you're like, yeah, I'm feeling this like that. Like, this is so good. Because I make videos as well, I make ASMR videos with concepts like this involved in the edit. Like, the edit style is to invoke, like those words I used earlier about psychedelia and other things. I think about these things when I'm producing that work sometimes. I could aspire to something like this. It's just beautiful. It's superb. It's superb, isn't it? Enough with the hyperbole. No, it's really good though. I know I'm approaching something, I don't know what it is. I know it must be the right direction because this, it's, whoa. Oh, you little chuffer. That didn't scare me though, I'm not easy scared. Back in the chuffing car. And you know what's weird is I automatically wanted to sort of like be quiet and listen to what they're saying on the radio in case I could glean some information that might make this all make a bit more sense. But of course I can't because they're just going to talk gibberish. But I'm automatically like drawn in. Even though this is a repeated scene, I'm drawn in. And the thing that jumped me in the woods looked a lot like those things that were at the bar at the very start. Do you remember when we were loading the gun? Those things were at the bar.
Yeah, it's one of the goals in Turin. Yeah. So the turning calls a cabal, and I was reading an article and saw in Time. And it's really good.
So I'm just going to pause it 'cause some things are occurring in my mind. As these repeat car structures happen, it feels like I can discern more of the voice. Is it that I am slowly sort of bringing the voice into tuning, into focus, into, you know, realization? Am I getting closer to reality each time I run through this? And is it eventually going to become understandable? The other thing that I thought, that thing that jumped me, the concept of the aliens, the radio show. I know that in Arizona and places like this where they talk about this Area 51 and all that, you know, you get radio shows, don't you, that do talk-ins and people talk about experiences, and it feels a lot like I'm in that sort of neck of the woods and experiencing these things. Am I an alien? Are these videotapes part of that? Part of my alien ability to understand or transfer ideas? It's just, I'm an agent, aren't I? I don't know, because I was being given the instructions on what to do at the start by what seemed like some sort of agent, and it had that Inception-y, am I in a dream? You know, who is this really? Sort of Matrixy sort of feel to it as well. Matrixy as well, isn't it? The greens and the confusion and yeah.
Really the Hollywood store and a lot of.
But pre-Matrix, my box appeared then. Pre-Matrix though, like Matrix. If the Matrix was, you know, Matrix 2.0 or whatever, like this would be the Matrix like version 1 written on the old. In the old Linux, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like talking a programming language, and if the Matrix is this super program that can deliver the whole world to my conscious, this is like the first run that, you know, couldn't deliver the whole world. Like those early days of the Matrix, you know, and then they scrapped that one, did a new one on the new system, like the first Matrix.
Well, that's one time. It's more like you think of Fox all around called terrorist or going.
Well, it's happening about, I mean, we told us here before, but there's shout out why to make it happen, like, we just don't know, we don't know.
Well, I mean, you think that people fall, but on the other hand, called sound that will fall the entire time. It's global all time.
All time.
Yeah, but I called, so it's silicon coma, and I was talking about this particular called, so she
I feel like we're going to get dumped out of this in a minute. Interesting, there's nothing else on the road as well, is there ever? And now there's no urbanisation either. Right, now we're sort of out in the desert.
So-called burnt collar. It's not gold. It's not gold.
It's like we're getting further and further away from the city, and there's the gun again, and the urbanisation. But the roads dip and move now, so it's something, you know, very interesting. Even though it's subtle, it's really interesting the way that road undulates, and you feel, well, I feel that we're getting further away from one thing, but closer in actual fact to another. What's going on with this undulation? Isn't the ground usually flat in the desert? You certainly don't. You're not used to. Like, that was like a warping of reality, wasn't it? Am I getting further away from the steering wheel then? Felt like I just shifted in my seat in a way. Where's my tapes? They've gone. The radio's gone. You see how it's subtle? See how subtle it is? The talking's gone. And it's dark as well, isn't it? What I'm doing is steering. Been here before, haven't we? Been here before. See if you've got anything to say for yourself. You filling up on 4? Yeah, whatever. Who are you travelling with? I'm on my own. Sure, right. You're not from around here. I shouldn't think about this too much because it'll take forever, but what? What makes you say that? Used to be. No, I'm not. Ever wonder why the potato chip bags are mostly full of air, but corn chip bags are always so full? No, I've never wondered that. And in fact, in the UK, both bags are quite full of air. It's to stop the crisps from breaking, isn't it? It's something from breaking. Whatever I can, and they fill it with nitrogen as well, because nitrogen, obviously, things react with oxygen, like bacteria reacts with oxygen. Bacteria can't breathe nitrogen, so they fill the bags with nitrogen. Or another inert gas, and it stops the crisps from going bad. And that's why when you open them, they start to go stale really quick, because the oxygen. Ever wonder why they? Yeah. Wherever I can find work. You should check out the local attractions. Tell me more. Giant ball of twine, very Summer Max. Very Summer Max. Lie, no, I'm not interested. What else you got? Milk store, state park, ghost carnival, museum. Museum? I don't know if you remember the electrical company. I don't know if you remember the electrical company, but there's lots of stuff people find in the woods. They bring it back and they put it in the museum. It does weird stuff. Well, that's the sort of stuff we've been on, so I'm going to go for that. What sort of weird stuff? Just weird stuff. You should check it out yourself. Okay, so I need to go to the museum. What's there to do at the state park? Well, these people were finding things at the state park, weren't they? Hunting and fishing, camping too, drugs maybe if you're into that. Boom. See? Look, just mention it straight up. What's a ghost carnival? Why are these options? Is this like a menu and eventually I travel to them because of my choices? We used to have this old carnival. It would trash the state every summer, just out of town. The old lady who owned it got sick, so she had them set it up on her farm. Then she died and everyone just kind of moved on. The kids say it's haunted. Tell me more about the museum. It's real neat. I don't know if you remember the electrical company, or we've done that. Can I go then? Milk store, weird stuff, ghost carnival, state park. All right, milk store. It's a store, they only sell milk. Milk products, milk accessories, milk bottles. Okay. Now, that isn't all we've got. What's there to do at the state park? I mean, I've been through this, haven't I? Let's move into that cyclical conversation. Time for me to get going. Thank you. Looks like my friend's finished fueling up. Again, I'm here on my own for the second time. Oh, hello. There is someone out there filling up. Is that me or is that a shadow? Jungian concept of the shadow is... God, man, the amount of times I do this big face, it's starting to annoy me now, so you probably hate it as well. The Jungian concept of the shadow, related through many forms of media. 9 Inch Nails did a really good song about it. My shadow. It's everything that you're not, that you maybe want to be, and also the bad things that you don't want to be. So it's the anti-you. But it could easily be you, because you could just do those things. You think them. That's why they're your shadow. You've thought, when I described the things then that you don't want to do, you thought of them, didn't you? Your shadow's off busy doing them. Could be you. Some people, you know, get consumed by their shadow. There's a lot to dig and unpack in that, but we're not doing that now. We're not talking about the Jungian shadow any further. We're just going to finish our conversation with this strange face man, lady, man. Being off the highways helps. When the electrical company shut down, that didn't help us none. Wasn't there some kind of accident? Yeah, it must have been 14 years ago now. But nobody really knows what went down. Nope. Well, I can't stay here forever. I'd better go. You two drive safe now. I mean, thanks. I'd like... Oh, we've been here before. Right, hands up, you chuffer. You've been watching the tapes. Should I shoot him? Did it say to kill people? Well, that's just... Oh, I thought... maybe I just did it. My shadow did it, didn't it? Just did it. He had his hands up. He wasn't hurting anyone. He was watching the tapes. Mate, you've been watching too many tapes. Let's watch a tape. What? Maybe I shouldn't have blown his head off. Maybe I should have just put the tape in. It's too late now. I'll have to play this game again now, won't I? You went in there and watched the tape, didn't you? Now look at you. I told you not to watch those tapes. Friendo. Lovely sound design again. Reminiscent of a heartbeat. Ooh, yeah, come on. Let's have it. Let's have it. I've got a piece. It's time to make some peace. We're out in the woods. Bit of peace and quiet. Let's have it. I'm coming for you, chuffing alien man. You're not jumping me this time. Yeah, that's right. You can jump forward in time like you're having some sort of breakdown. Mental Health Monday, every Monday, 8 PM GMT on this channel. We help. We don't joke about mental health, really. We help. But yeah, like, you know, you got to be able to have a laugh, ain't you? And yeah, this is brilliant. I feel like I am the protagonist in Naked Lunch. Music's wicked. Okay, so it was down here, but this thing jumped me from over here, didn't it? Or was it up in the trees? I'm going to be a bit smart this time. I'm going out, taking a wide berth. Friendo. Friendo is going to enter my lexicon now, isn't it? I'm going to start saying friendo from now on. Brilliant. Oh, look at that thing painted on the wall. That was like the logo of the game. And now it looks like one of these antennas, which is up there. And look at the crooked aspect of it. It's just like a homemade antenna. You track the aliens, get them down here. I've got to go up there. Let's investigate this. I feel like someone's going to baff me on the back of the head. Oh, is that... Oh, that's gruesome. Not only is it gruesome, wasn't that like that TV head man? Didn't that come out? Look, it's moving. It's moving. Friendo. Is that an alien? Is there a tape? What's that? Is that my camera? I don't know. In the woods, past the old concrete meatworks, by some kind of... Would that be the mansion off Highway 69? Yeah, that sounds right. State the nature of the emergency, please. I was hiking and there's this body. It's all torn up. I think it was a girl.
A girl. Is she breathing?
A girl? Is she breathing? No, she's dead. She's a mess.
Ma'am, you sound calm.
Ma'am, you sound calm. That's good. Can I get your name? I'm a fella, to be fair. You need to get someone out here. My name's Ganja Kid. I'll have someone out there in a jiffy. Could you just give me your name? Mum.
Ma'am? Ma'am?
Jessica Harvey, Doc Burford, Lazzie Brown. Whilst I am left... Jessica Harvey, visuals, programming, project management. What a huge contribution. Special thanks to Gabby, Isaac, Joshua, Amphetamine, and everyone else who kept us alive. Amphetamine, referencing Doc Burford. Concepts, brilliant. Script, fantastic. Shotgun Wrangler, cheeky. Special thanks to Cameron and Corey. It's the first time I've actually cared to watch the credits this much. Lazzie Brown, sound design, a Triumph, OST. Fantastic, I can't wait to get a full copy of it. Special thanks, Jonathan Barron, additional voices. You did really well. You made it. It came together through your input. Port done by Baltoro Games. Thanks for bringing it to me. Thanks for caring. Programmer, Sebastian Kloch. Graphic design, Mateus Warian. Production, Pytor Rasevich. I hope I get those names right. Quality assurance, Michael Grela, Jan Sosniak. Are these Polish names? Paratopic uses, Saber CSG, Road to... I don't know what this means. Dsoft's Retro Shader. This is the stuff they used to make it, yeah? Additional thanks to Dillian Rogers, Megan Fox, Garrett Cooper, David Simansky, Ethan Todd and Terry Velman. Additional thanks to Jack Squires, Sybil Astor, Gabby Mismatch. Once they've done this, I will tell you about my thoughts, because what the chuff... What the chuff? Who is that there? Is it that woman that was in the flat with us? She was watching the tapes. It's an old meat factory. Oh, hello, hang on. Oh, I thought I was having to do something then. It just changed, is all. Oh, the camera's on me. The camera was on me. Did you see that little dot? That was very elegant at the end. Very elegant. And of course I'm being recorded. I'm on the tapes. The chuff. This is good, isn't it? Doing this at the end. What the chuff? I mean, how about I give you the finger and you give me my phone call? These are like achievements, aren't they? No smoking, a waste of good tobacco. I put that cigarette out. That's what that is. So now I know there's additional things that I should or could do. Headshot, professional killer. I did do that, didn't I? Just. Oh, I'm such a chuffer. I'm such a chuffer. Like, in the real world, there's no way I'd be taking that headshot. I'd be like, oh, mate, wait, well, sorry. Oh, excuse me. You know, I'm so polite and British. I'd burst in with the gun. They'd be, oh, sorry, excuse me. I didn't mean to. Oh, sorry. Have you been watching the tapes, mate? Like, that's what I'd do. But because it's a game, I got the gun trained on him, and I got, like, you know, just one trigger, one button. It was so tempting, wasn't it? The temptation was there. It's a bit like drugs, isn't it? That's a joke. The temptation was there, and I did take it. I did pop them in the head, didn't I? I'm going back to the switch so you can hear the beautiful sound design here, even through the end. What else did I do? I'm not saying it's aliens. I'm saying it's not aliens. Do you know why I pulled you over today? DUI. Oh, that must be all the crashes I had. Driving under the influence. Oh, but hang on. Watch the red flower bloom in the dark. Don't remember doing that. Don't quite know what that means. And do you know why I pulled you over today? Driving under the influence. Of course, it's talking about drugs as well, isn't it? Not just alcohol, but drugs. What a heavy set of ideas that are not, like, they're deliberately not transparent, aren't they? They're deliberately not transparent. They're deliberately opaque. I mean, look at it. Look at how beautiful it is that we're talking about it being opaque, and you have this muddy water, this deliberate pixelization. This, look at it. It's opaque, isn't it? I think I will have to play this game again in the future sometime. You know, maybe not tomorrow. I like to let things sit. I like to let them sit. I like to let them sit and settle. And then think about things while I'm on the dog walk. Write some things down on my phone. Come back and talk about them. But this has been good, hasn't it? This has been good. I'm still a little confused. So in terms of storyline, in terms of narrative, I felt that we were sent on a mission. I felt strongly that there was some sort of... The early scene in the corridor, the concept of being interrogated, the authority figure, felt like there was some sort of police authority, you know, mission that I was being sent on. The strict adherence to professionalism, given a gun, felt like I might be some sort of assassin, maybe. Then I veered off that. I got confused, something to do with tapes and drugs. Almost like I was some kind of drug dealer. I was driving these tapes around. And along the way, I sort of jumped timeline to this. It was me, of course. I was driving the car and stopping off at these petrol stations, these garages, and talking to this fella, going out into the woods, basically, going out into the desert to do some alien encounter style investigation or something. Aliens came up, didn't they? They came up as a theme. And I was finding it difficult to understand the radio. I was having these encounters. I was taking photos of birds. And then we were back in the room. 3, 2, 1, you're back in the room. What do you do? The fellow was watching the tapes. I've got a gun, so I shot him. I suppose that says more about me than the game, doesn't it? I'm prepared. Like that. Do you know what? In real life as well, not even joking. I have been in my life that sort of. Let's go big face. I've never shot anyone, but I have pulled the trigger on events. Like when things seem to be teetering on the brink, I'll give them a little push. Like I'll do the dangerous thing that might have serious consequences. I've not done a bungee jump, but you know, I'll try things. Let's just say that. I'll try things in life. I have been known to, out of a sense of sometimes disregard for my own safety, but that is tied in with depression and things like that. But also out of a sense of thrill seeking and sort of, not confidence or bravery, maybe some part of that. I heard a really interesting quote today that the coward and the hero have the same fear. The only difference is what they do with it. And your actions make you a coward if you turn away, and if you brave the fear and take the leap of faith or whatever, then you could be a hero. I don't know. I've been willing to try, not in a druggy negative sense as well. Every time, whether it be a new experience, a new place to visit, a new. I haven't been the person that said, oh, you're stupid for doing something different. I don't like people from foreign countries. I don't like that horrible funny food. I don't like you being different. Oh, it's just me and my way, and this way is the best. I'm quite happy to be open-minded. Quite happy. Yeah. So I shot the guy. I feel bad about it now. I actually do feel bad about it now. But you can't take things back, can you? The shots that have been fired in the past, you can't take them back. You just, in my opinion, take responsibility for them and just say, yeah, I did that. Okay, fair enough. Sometimes things might have worked out. Sometimes they might not. I've always tried to have a good heart. Take me or leave me. Let's move forward. Is my general perspective on that. But so I've never killed anyone, so I don't have to go to prison or anything like that. Those shots that I'm talking about are not like that, are they? They're other actions. In life, they talk about passive aggressive. And some people think passive-aggressive means... some people are confused about what it means. Passive-aggressive means not doing something when you could do something to act. So if you see the car coming and you don't shout, hey, mate, that's passive-aggressive. Because your passivity is not doing something. But you in your mind know that you could act and the action could be beneficial. So it's negative that you choose not to do it. It's like aggressive, but being aggressive without aggression to somebody else, acting negatively to them, physically acting negatively, pushing them in front of the car, that's aggression. But passive aggression is allowing these negative things to happen and being aware but passive. It's not my fault, I didn't say anything, it's not, I didn't do it. Well, you knew, and sometimes people think passive aggressive is someone, like, let's say for example, someone's in a mood with you, so someone's in a mood with you, so they hide your car keys. And then when you come to find your car keys, you're like, oh, I can't find my car keys. Like, they're so passive-aggressive. They haven't done anything to me. They've done it to the keys. No, that's still aggression. That's active aggression. They've moved the keys. Passive aggression would be you're looking for the car keys. They can see them under the sofa, and they're just sitting there going, I don't know. Where's the keys? I don't know. That's passive because they do know and they could help, but they're not. And I feel like... there's a sorry, I've just unplugged my headphone a bit there. There's a borderline between passive aggression and other forms of, like, you wouldn't say because you don't give money to charity you're being passive aggressive, but you do know those people are suffering. You wouldn't say because we don't pressure our governments to do something about China we're being passive aggressive, but we do know that China's causing these people to suffer. So yeah, it's a confusing one, isn't it? But I, in my life, feel like I'm an agent, not a secret agent, like an agent of change, an agent of action, and that when there are options, act, don't act. I think I'm more like I'm here streaming to you. I thought about it for a year when I was caring for my nan, didn't have the time and space and patience and wherewithal to do it, but things are different now and I'm doing it. I was interested in sword fighting at school, so I got into the fencing club. Do you know what I mean? I went quite far. I like to preach about it because it's part of my journey and taught me about life and challenges and overcoming them and sport and things. But also, I've been casually leaning over here. Smoking my little cigarette because I tried smoking when I was younger and it was bad, naughty, don't do it, bad. But I did, and so there are actions that you take that can lead to positive action. If you do nothing, you can't get anywhere in life. But you can also take an action and it can go wrong. You can end up with a bad result, a bad consequence. You can make a mistake, This game is built to this moment where you're given the gun and shown them. You burst into the room, you've got the gun, you've gone down all this thing, and it's built. It feels like this game is built. Oh, how extraordinarily good is this game? how extraordinarily good. It's built to a crescendo of 2 moments. You have that moment when the alien jumps you, and then you go back there and you finish the game there, and you kind of discover this gruesome discovery. That's the real crescendo, isn't it? But the real crescendo, the real one, the sub crescendo, like the one you care about, is when you're handed the gun and you're in the room and there's the man. He's got his hands up. He's watching the tapes. Act, don't act. Walk, don't walk. Do you take the red pill or the blue pill? There's so much in that, isn't there? There's a Matrix theme in there, again. That Matrix theme of red pill, blue pill wasn't, first discovered in the Matrix. Act, don't act. Walk, don't walk. Choose life. Choose ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. When ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise. That's Shakespeare. And it's not only Shakespeare, it's what my teacher used to make me write as lines. When I was naughty at school, the deputy head, me and him had a special relationship because I spent more time with him than any other teacher because I'm constantly getting sent there for being naughty. He'd make me write these lines, and the reason was the line fit exactly on a page, on a line. So you should write the whole page, fill this page with this line. When ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise. And you should space it nicely. So I know that line. I've seen that repeated a bajillion times. Yeah, act, don't act. Be ignorant, learn. The consequence of the action, take responsibility for it. I had to. I couldn't rewind it like the tapes. I did, didn't I? I put a few different tapes in. It was almost like I could for a minute, but I couldn't go back any further than the moment his head blew off. I could only go. There's a line you cross in the sand of time that you can't go back from. Did I inhale? Did I eat that cake? Like, there's a state of not eating. There's a state of looking at it and considering. There's a state of it being in my tummy. Okay, I could regurgitate it, couldn't I? It's cake, but do you know what I'm saying? Until the cake is eaten, it's always cake. You can have your cake and not eat it, but you can't eat it and still have it. That's the trick, eating it and still having it. You can have your cake and eat it, but eating it and still having it. I wanted to eat it then. I'm going to have to put it down because I need another sip of tea. But I've got a squash there. Nice bit of cake. Thought cake. What a game. What a game. What a brilliant, brilliant game. Returning to the main menu to see if anything's changed. No. Oh, achievements is now available to see, but we just looked at them. There is DLC available, and after that, I'm seriously considering it. I think I'm going to play through it once more, probably in my free time when I'm sat in bed, because the Nintendo Switch is so beautiful. You can pick it up and take it to bed. But it's only got a little port for your headphones, so don't get any funny ideas. Like I might play it through and see what happens if I don't shoot the fella. See if I'm forced to shoot the fella. So you do have replay value, don't you, in the game? The achievements has pointed that out to you. It said, play me again. Hasn't it? It said that to you, play me again. Go over it again, go through it again. Rewind. Replay. Hello, you big fat cat. That cat sat down there must think, who's he talking to? Mustn't he? He must think, who's he talking to? He doesn't know you're there. If he does, what would he think? Do you want to come and say hello? You're just still right there, basking in this beautiful light, aren't you? Yep. I'm so pleased with this game, so pleased. So the next step for me, we've been a 3-hour stream now. Beautiful, that's brilliant for me as well, happy with that. The next step is for me to make a cut out of this, edit this 3-hour session down to a sort of 40-minute bite-size highlights reel, and pop that up on Ganji Cuts. That's my job for Sunday. That'd be fun. It would actually. It'd be nice to look over it again. The more I talk, the more I've got to edit, of course, but I don't mind staying on another 5-10 minutes just to finish this off. The music's brilliant. Even the music's brilliant. Turning it down now. Yeah, so I'm going to edit that. I'm going to get on with that tomorrow. And we'll be back on Mental Health Monday on Monday. 8 PM GMT right here. it's all kicking off. Mental Health Monday. It's going really well. And then later on this week, we've got the arrival of the chairs and tables that's going to go in this room. Big face. We've got the arrival of the new furniture. We're going to set up a little podcast studio. We're going to get that rolling. Might even have a guest by the end of the month. You never know. Probably just someone I know, like I say. Just friends and family, friends of friends to get started with so that we can get the system working. It's all going well. It's all going really well. But of course now I've got to throw in this new thing, which is we definitely want to interview these developers. We definitely want to, if only to have them sit quietly and receive praise. But really, we want to pick their brains. We want to know about these themes and ideas. Yeah, we want to know what it's been like to create the game, how their journey has been, because often the artistic process, the creation process can bleed into the creation itself. We want to know how that went. Because a small team, remember that, a small team, that was 3 people with an additional sort of, I knew this would be the case, and like they had someone graphical, didn't they? And so I forgot everyone's job title, but core 3 people that are like the main come together to make this game, and then there's a few extra jobs that I did it with the film. I filmed things. Me and Matt, Matt's been crucial to the film, and I suppose I'm not blaming him because he wanted to take a different job and pursue his career in another way. Fine, but in another way, our documentary about the game developers suffered because there are jobs I can't or don't feel I'm capable or haven't proved capable of doing, and he's really good at. So yeah, like I know this from doing a film where I can film, I can edit, but can I musically score, and can I talk to a sponsor, attract a sponsor, send an email, do any admin, create a website? You know, there's other things. So I imagine there's a core team of developers here, and then people that have been brought in to, you know, help the project realise completion. That's my guess. Or maybe they're all, you know, maybe it's a wider team, but they gave us those 3 names at the start, didn't they? So they're the 3 that we're going to send emails and tweets to. I think the one that did the concepts and the script writer will probably be, do you know what, quite a lot of the time the script writer in these games is going to be the person that I feel strongly to like I'm going to want to draw out as much information about the ideas and narratives that are projected and presented, aren't I? And that's come from the script writer. Really interestingly, when I met these game developers in this project, when I made this film, one of the teams had a script. It was a really small team, all female actually, wasn't it? All female team. And Andy and I've got to remember everyone's name. Was it Marta? Because they're foreign names to me. I hope I pronounce things right. Andy and Marta were like the technical people, and they'd hooked up with she was from the Czech Republic, wasn't she? They were from Spain, and she was from Czech Republic. They took up with a scriptwriter who was like in her own world, was like an author, you know, written a book, a children's book, and scriptwriter. So these 2 different artists, like these digital, like somebody who sits on a computer all day and does all the technical coding and, you know, graphics and all that. These core team added this scriptwriter and became like a core team of 3. And the scriptwriter just like, she probably could not have coded in the same, she probably learned a bit, I don't know, but her role was very different. But what I found so amazing about this was that, like, you think about these games and, you know, of course you can't do it without these codey people, but then these codey people bring in these righty story people as well. And sometimes the codey people have got the righty story thing in their own head and do it all in one. Like sometimes you're you know, an artist on your own producing, and I've seen these people spinning all the different plates, being excellent at some and struggling with others. And I've seen some of these game developers, like Henry Hoffman's a great example of someone who seems to excel in every area. And like you think, but like, where's it going to stop? Like, how can you be so excellent at all these things? And, you know, has gathered support from backers, like financially, and has produced great work. And then I saw another artist like Mads who was just exceptional in terms of the artist's soul, and I feel, I mean, his game is coming to fruition now. It's taken a long time, and it was like a labour of love, like carving something out of wood, where Henry can create it from scratch out of like mechanical parts. Like this carving of wood took a lot more time because there was this labour. Like Henry can use the machine tools to give you a perfect table, like very quickly, because he's very polished at those, excellent skills. Whereas Mads was like, learning to hand carve, and it took a lot longer. If you catch my analogies, but they both ended up with excellent games. It's just one's taken a lot longer. And they're both excellent artists who have done not all, obviously they brought in other people along the way, like I was explaining, this team probably did. But in general, they started with the principle that they were going to do it all themselves, and have striven, have worked hard to do that. And when it eventually comes to the point where help is not, I won't say needed, like you could make the game all on your own, but it would probably take another 10 years, and you want to get it done. So... But I believe in their abilities to do all the jobs. It's just that no human can do all the jobs, can they? As you make these beautiful things. It's strange in art, though. Quite often in art, artists, you would expect an artist to do everything. Damien Hirst comes to mind here. Damien Hirst has a team of people who make the art. He comes up with the ideas, and a team of people make the art. So sometimes he doesn't even touch the works, to have them produced. But he's the artist, and he's produced the work. He didn't have to hold the brush or hammer the nail. But as consumers of art, as lovers of art, traditionally, people, I remember I used to go to an art society. It was all a lot of people who love painting and they're a bit older than me, and they wouldn't have agreed with that. They'd have said, if he doesn't touch it, he's not an artist, is he? Who's the person doing the painting? They're the artist. There might have been a debate there, whether ideas are art or whether the way you manifest it physically is the art, whatever. So yeah, these great artists are producing this work, and the scriptwriter, it seems, if you are a really capable sculptor and you have this person who's got these ideas and says to you, wouldn't it be great to make these sculptures, and you come together as part of a team, and you're talking and working and creating, and ideas I think that seems to work really well. And so when it comes to that, the person I most desire to pick their brain is actually the scriptwriter, the person, the idea person. And as I said, in many of these indie games, you can't say it was one person. In many of these indie games, it's a group of people who have had concepts and ideas they've come up with, and then they've brought in a scriptwriter to help them crystallise them, maybe is a better way to look at it. Like in a film, if you were to watch a film, the director's the main one, aren't they? But really, like, they just got this book, this script, and thought, well, that's good. Here's all the instructions. I'm going to tell you how to film it because it says it in here. And I've got an idea of how I want this one to look, so can you do that? And again, they're not picking all this stuff up. They're not picking up all the cameras. So who's the artist? Is it the cameraman? Is it the director? Again, it's the scriptwriter who's put all those directions in there, all that richness of story, all those ideas. And the director can visualise them, can make new visualisations of them, can realise them. But they all came from that core part of the scriptwriter, didn't it? So, so there's something interesting in that, even with games. But also, having said that, I do want to talk to the other members of the team who create and realise it. I'm sure their themes, ideas, their feelings are pushed into that too. I'm sure they don't just sit there silently while the scriptwriter dictates all the ideas. I'm sure it's a group thing, certainly with a smaller team. So I'll be really interested to hear any voices from that team. They've done a magnificent thing. It's a really good game. It's a little bit grown up, isn't it? A little bit grown up. I think you kind of want to engage with a bit more media in your life. I think you kind of want to engage. Like I said, it would be nice to have that background. Like, the reason I found such wonder and enjoyment in it was because of these rich themes from other pieces of media. Cronenberg, Burroughs, the cut-ups, the Videodrome, and even other modern themes as well, wasn't there? And experience in life, like I was able to talk about the dark, blunt edge of drugs versus psychedelia. I think that's a big theme in this, and some prior knowledge enables you to draw more out of this experience, probably. as a piece in time. What are we now? I mean, I don't know when it was exactly made, but we're in the 2014s now, aren't we? And yet it harks back to an 80s age videotape. So I guess it's made by people who understand videotape, for people who feel at least to understand video. Videotape is a theme that you can grab hold of, isn't it? So you can say, I remember that. I'm this old. I don't remember that. I'm not this old. I might not be interested. You kind of like the videotape concept, kind of very clever, isn't it, for a piece of art to be able to speak to an audience. Oh, I touched the controller. Be able to speak to, like, the videotape concept clearly speaks to an audience of a certain age, and then it takes you down this rabbit hole, sort of assuming that if you get that, you'll get all this. You've had that life experience, you know, you're this age, aren't you? You've seen these things. You might have come across at least Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Wondered Who Burroughs was. Maybe read his book. Maybe watch The Naked Lunch. That's another director that's interesting, isn't it? That's Cronenberg. Oh, maybe watch a few more of his films. Oh, now we've got this. So if you haven't watched those films, if you haven't watched any Cronenberg, go and watch Videodrome. If you haven't watched Naked Lunch, go and watch Naked Lunch. If you haven't read Naked Lunch, go and read Naked Lunch. They're my recommendations following this. And for me, I've got to contact these people. Friendo. You just know. Don't talk with your mouth full. You just know that I'm going to send them an email and it's going to say, hello, Friendo. I absolutely love it. Friendo. I love it. Friendo. Okay. You be good, my little podcast. We've had a fantastic stream tonight. Not so interactive on your part, you naughty. You've not been interacting. Why didn't you... You know, when streamers, Darky Side Phil, I've been watching recently, so this is where it's coming from, but when they get angry, no, I actually don't mind if it's quiet like that. I'm going to edit this into a lovely video. It's going to lead to a conversation with the developers. Stream for me is like a live recording session. It's organic. It can sometimes spiral out of control with all different voices. Sometimes we've had up to 10 people in the chat, and for me, that's massive. So other times it can be nice and quiet and chilled, and I can just get on with it. So I'm happy either way. I'm happy, and I hope you are too, because we've had a really good one today. It's been really good. You be good, and if you can't be good, you've been watching the tapes.